Okay, chat. Hello. We are back here. I should actually put in a little stream marker so I can find this easily when I go back to edit this. Trying to be a good person. I'll answer some of those questions you asked in chat in just a moment here. Those are some good ones. Add stream marker. Beautiful. And I'm going to do a backup recording here. Soon we're going to multi-stream to YouTube, but our account can't do that for another like 24 hours from now. It's like 1 day short. So, I'm just doing a backup recording of our audio in case Twitch would ever mute any of the VODs. They have a tendency to do that. And I want to make sure that's not the case because we want some fresh audio for later. Okay, Hazemaker asking a question. What kind of world is Fallout? Like post-apocalyptic Mad Max type of shit? It is very specifically retrofuturism. So it's taking the vibe of the 1950s. And it's the rest of the series basically mimics real life to a T at this point. The U.S. government is extraordinarily corrupt because of corporations that run amok throughout the entire country. They have exacerbated war conditions around the world. One of the primary companies, vault-tec, that creates these vaults, is effectively a kleptocracy-style scheme of funneling money from the taxpayers into a like multi-trillion-dollar program to build these vaults, which are supposed to save humanity, but really wind up just as havens for the rich and the short end of the stick for anyone that's not rich, but somehow gets in there. I'm talking about a whole franchise in a short couple words here. But let's see. Progressive Squirrel says, yeah, tech advanced, but post-World War II social aspects never phased out. Progressive Squirrel's 100% right there. The tech advanced partially. It is worth noting that they didn't do the micro transistors. They didn't get into the technology we have now with the small silicon chips and all the rest. They stayed with like tube style devices, and it's where you get all these really cool like terminal style feels in the game. It's really interesting. It really stitches an interesting patchwork together. And this kind of overlay that we're looking at right now is actually a scene from Fallout 76 within the vault. They have a reclamation day when they're going to go out of the vault and save America. And it doesn't really work out like that because America destroyed itself and there's no American way of life to rebuild. But that's why we're playing this game as a table of comrades here. Fallout is very on the nose to what's going wrong in society here. I mean, without any question. If anything, what we'd like to bring to the series is for Fallout fans to pay attention that it's based on real life. Like, there are a lot of people out there right now who are not tuned into the world events, and there's a lot of players who just think like, oh, Fallout's some fantasy world. No, Fallout is more of it is only a slight fiction of our reality. Only slight in that tech didn't go that way, but like all the government, all the corporations act exactly the way they do in Fallout. It is all labor busting, union busting. You know, it is all about selling people poison products for cheap prices, telling them it's a miracle cure. That's Fallout for you in a nutshell. And so these people who are like reclaiming the wasteland are sort of lying to themselves. You know, it's a lot of old propaganda in their minds from what could be in the old days. Like, yeah, that'll be a briefing for you. I love Fallout. Only got into it about 4 years ago, and I really love the series, the franchise, all the rest. The TV series is great too. Okay, I have rambled like hell. What I'm going to do now, I think, is turn down the music. We'll flip it into something a little bit more fitting for our game. This is probably the part, hello, YouTube, and all the rest, if we're out there talking into your ears, if you're listening to podcast form. Hello, my name is Kyle. I will be your overseer for this episode, and I'll probably more formally introduce myself in just a moment. So let's select some new music. We're going to choose something this should all be YouTube friendly, but we're going to go with something a little more neutral for it, just in case. Take us into some Fallout atmosphere here. Where are we going? Got some nature vibes here. How about, ooh, is this the Wendigo one? I got some like spooky ones here. Okay, to everyone at the table, it is 8 o'clock. Why don't we go ahead? I'm going to record some sort of just very basic introduction for them here. I'll say that very briefly. Then to the people at the table, I'll kind of pass this to you. I would love it tonight, and I want to give you guys time to work through this very quickly in your heads. You did it last week. But a short introduction for all of your characters. For some people, this is most certainly going to be the first encounter meeting our group. So in just a moment, again, I'll pass it to you all. And maybe I'll even just, point you out in order. How's our thing here? We got character sheet style. Yeah, we'll go in order of the character sheet. So Sky will touch on your thing first for Sam, and then Raven, and then Jim. So Mac, if you want to start typing out something briefly, that's perfectly cool. Here I go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to what is shaping up to be the first session of our Fallout TTRPG that is using the Modifius 2D20 system. I am joined here with a table of my comrades who are going to introduce themselves in just a moment. My name is Kyle, and I will be your overseer for tonight. That is the game's version of a GM, a game master. We, as a table, have been playing for about 1 year, a little bit short of it. That has been our long tutorial stage. It's been a session 0, if you will. We were all getting comfortable, none of us at the table being TTRPG players in the past. I myself only have the briefest experience with Dungeons & Dragons. And so this was a brand new experience for us. We've taken our time to get comfortable with it. We have added sets of rules over the weeks. We still have some sets of rules from the book to add. So if you're a lore snob, if you're a rule snob out there, please do forgive us and cut us a little bit of slack that we are playing for a narrative-driven approach. That means that we're going to adhere to the rules as best as possible, but we will homebrew things as needed. And I did kind of tease in there. I kind of put the cart in front of the horse when I said to the lore snobs out there, we also will try to be very appropriate to the Fallout lore. I am a guy that likes to play and keep the identity of games intact. I'm not the type of guy that mods Thomas the Tank Engines into Skyrim per se, and so you will not get that experience in this one. Instead, what you're going to get is an expansion upon the Fallout universe as we already understand it in terms of what characters can do, how they can interact with their environment, and what sort of story they can build for themselves. I'm always encouraging this group that you can ask questions and you can tweak things and you can set out new directions and directives for your characters. You can really do things that the video games don't allow you to. The video games have hardware limitations. They close off certain hallways. You just can't do anything about that. But in here, if my gang wants to go and set charges and open up the hallway, if they want to dig it out by hand, whatever the thing is, they all have the ability to do those things. They can sort of break the rules that you get in a digital game. So without me blustering and talking too much, I will just give a couple short things before I toss it off to Sky here in a moment. I just want to say everything we're doing here, this is a multimedia effort. Substack has everything. That is the home of behind the scenes episodes that we do. It's going to be the home of these recorded versions going out, these Sunday night live stream sessions that are here on Twitch. We do those at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, but they will be archived up to YouTube. We hope those will come out every Wednesday, and they should be in audio form too already. So you can go and check that out on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music. Should be up there now on YouTube if it's finished circulating and doing all of its last verifications and checks. Should be up there now. But the point is, it's pretty much everywhere. And TFT, fallout.substack.com is the place to go because the name of this awesome program that we're starting up is Tales from Tomorrow. That is going to be the name of this TTRPG series. Specifically, this campaign is Tales from Tomorrow, Under the Mothman's Embrace, because that's going to play a role in it. This is going to be a very fun storyline to get into. We have a Mothman worshiper on the team. So Substack is the place to go. We've got a Discord. We've got a Twitch. Like I said, all the podcasts are up there, and there's going to be other things in the future. So look out for it. I've even got a behind-the-scenes episode called An Overseer's Log that just launched today. Now that I'm done with all of that, the Overseer must pass the microphone. Sky, why don't you tell us about your character, Sam?
So, Sam was born in Nevada, born as Arlo McCarthy in October of 2056. Born into a military family, so his dad was stationed at Nellen Air Force Base, groomed to be in the military from a very early age. His mom died giving birth to his sister, um, and that kind of made his dad spiral. He started ruling kind of like with an iron fist. So at the age of 17, when the war kind of broke out, the war in Anchorage broke out, he slipped under the cover of the night and enlisted, both because he was kind of on the way to do it anyway, and also to escape. Kind of that was the only way he saw to escape home. So got sent to Anchorage as a medic. In Anchorage, there was a mysterious flash that took out some of his comrades, um, and kind of left him a little bit wounded. And that's when he got shipped home. He was out on a kind of hiking trip for his birthday on in October of 2077 when the bombs dropped. So he was able to escape them. And afterwards, he kind of tried to make his way back home. Found that it was pretty much destroyed, back to Galveston in Texas, and then he left to just try to find remnants of his dad. He had heard about the Enclave, and he wanted to go and check that out. And all signs point to West Virginia, so that's where he headed, and that's where he is now.
Thank you for that. Mac Raven, would you like to explain who your character is, aptly named Raven? By the way, before she presses enter on this, I just want to say Raven, who is without a microphone, her character uses sort of an in game tool, a vocabulator produced by the great company Robco, the trusted name in all robotics. So, Raven, if you'd like to go ahead and use your TTS to explain your character, feel free to do so.
Hello, I'm Raven, the Mothman follower. I have exiled from my clan for not following their way. I found the real wise one, he is good and kind. I meet Sam and Jim, they are strange, but are very nice.
I love it. That is true that Raven's character came upon Sam and Jim while they were looting a house, an abandoned farmstead, and there was a little bit of a scuffle and an encounter, but quickly became friends, and then became sort of brothers in arms because shortly after they had found a protectron that was trying to lead them further into Appalachia, generally offering that the town of Foundation was setting up shop or had, I should say, spread into a bustling hub and looking for more people to come and be active in its area. Let's see what else we have here. I think that's about it for Raven's character. She was typing something else, but I think we'll move on here, Raven, if that's okay. We can circle back to you in a minute. Let's go over to Dark Knight, who is playing Jim.
Well, Jim is a very interesting character. Jim grew up in what is called the Pit, what we know as Pittsburgh. He grew up to a family, working class family. Was very well into computers and technology and that sort of thing. And he was kind of, I guess, finding his way. He never really, had any aspirations or anything serious. But as the economy and whatnot at the time was struggling along to, maintain, uh, a steady way of life, a livable way of life. I mean, he was basically, just tinkering around. I think if I remember correctly, he was attending college for technology to, I guess, work with computers and whatnot. And then it wasn't until till he got wind of bombs dropping or starting to drop in different places in the country that he quickly got what he could and could carry, and found his way into a cave. out in the mountain areas and hid there while the bombs fell. Then after they fell, he got wind of there was there was a place in somewhere down south that was building itself up to be, I guess, a remnant of what was once, society, and he wanted to head his way down that way, and he started walking his way down through West Virginia, and that's when came across Sam and Raven.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate those introductions on your characters. I will also show out off here. Let's see. There we go. I can pull it up on the screen for you. This is the map that they're working with. For those that play Fallout 76, you might know this. You can go check this out for yourself. Again, this is up on the Substack, tftfallout.substack.com. You can see this for yourself. But this is north of the West Virginia Lumber Company. This is about as far north as you can go, northwest on the Fallout 76 map. So we are playing outside of that region. And in fact, this is probably right here as I'm highlighting this lane. This is probably one of the roads in from the pit. There's also potentially some stuff that goes up this way as well. People can make whatever path they want to make through there. And that is what sort of leads them to the town of Hope. Hope is a place that's also starting to grow and prosper. It's starting to, it intends to collect people who are coming south from the pit and give them a good way station, create a place that's safe for the expansion of the settlers throughout Appalachia. And you can see some markers that they found along the way. Tonight's takes place at the Wendigo's Grotto. So you can check that out. They were just at the radio tower and more. But that, again, is all recapped for you. And if you check out the Overseer's log, I tried to do a pretty decent recap of that. And as you might hear some of the sound effects in the background, you may be hearing a bit of a cranky Wendigo as it howls. That takes us into tonight's game, where our players are picking up in combat. So again, we're exiting our tutorial phase and bringing this all to you now for the first time. And what's really to focus on, I suppose, here is they've got a friend who has gone missing. That when they had gone to that town of Hope originally, they met someone by the name of Hell's Bells, and she set off with an expedition to get to that radio tower first. They were ambushed. The initial group of NPC, I almost want to say mercenaries. I suppose there's something between, they're probably something between settlers, mercenaries, soldiers, sort of that in-between mix, that if they're not defending their town, these were people that would have been taking care of things there, farming, building, etc. Unfortunately, this group has gone missing, and our crew on their way back from the radio tower is trying to see if they can find them. At the last game session, Raven had found some bioluminescent mushrooms that led them into a cave complex. They fought some ghouls outside of it, and now we pick up with our heroes right in the thick of combat. I want to get this to a good spot. People can see it on the screen. I'll point out that it looks like, okay, there we go. So in the top left corner of your screen, you are seeing a Wendigo and a person, one of the people from the expedition. You are seeing Sam and Jim, who are down there sort of right on the edge of this radioactive toxic area. And you've also got Raven standing right behind them. Out here is their trusted Mr. Handy, Alfred, who is an NPC character that I have the lovely honor of playing. Also, I will note that in about 45 minutes to an hour, we will take about a 10-minute break. So everyone out there in the live stream, you can expect that then. Let's go ahead. Now that everyone's had their chance to talk and share a little bit about their characters, why don't we go ahead back into this? We are picking up, again, right in the heat of combat. I'm going to do one little quick refresh on my alchemy to make sure it's all queued up, because it was telling me Sam was offline and Raven has a red marker. I don't know what that means. Disconnected. Oh, no. So hopefully Alchemy RVTT will work out for us here, just to give that as a heads up to all of you that it was being a little bit silly. Why don't I toss on some battle music now and we dive right into it. I think we can go ahead and start our initiative order fairly well anew. Sam, Why don't we go back down to you and kick it off, because that was the order we had last time. I will just say for our group in the chat that the Wendigo was using some of its opportunity last time to heal, and you got a little bit of a crisis on your hands that a Wendigo, a flesh-eating monster, usually the rich. Actually, these are usually rich people that have transformed after devouring the flesh of their employees and other rich friends. This one might try to eat your friend over there. So let's maybe not have that happen, shall we? Sam, what do we got in order here? Sam, Jim, and then Raven. You are up on deck. Let's get into this heated combat fresh right off the bat. Go ahead, Sam. What's your plan? You got a Wendigo in the corner. How you handling this? You'd see him back there, by the way, in the shadows with that person, like kind of grasping him under one arm and slinking back away from you is the idea here, Sam.
So, are our ears messed up? Are we able to inter-team communicate?
Great question. Wendigo did some sort of sound audio blast on you last time. You can communicate, but your ears are pretty messed up, I'll just say. You do have also a perception decrease by, I believe your skills hit by 1. Pardon me here. No. Difficulty goes up. Difficulty on perception tests is increased by 3. So perception tests that require hearing. That'd be like listening for sounds, and it just means it will be hard to communicate.
Mr. Sam, do we have any throwing bombs? I think I'm out.
I was thinking the same thing. You do have a mine. I was wondering maybe to get rid of that radiation if we could throw it at that cave wall and hopefully cause some sort of cave-in to kind of cover up that barrel. Maybe it'll reduce some of the rads in here.
Wow. That's a cool idea. Okay.
Big booms I like.
So your plan is to try and cave in some of this to cover up the radioactive barrels that are over here. By the way, that if you stand in it and you guys are on the very edge of that, it is 5 combat dice worth of radiation is your potential here. So that would be per turn if you stand in it.
Yeah, I think we could try that, or, I mean, I don't know if we have anything that's flammable. Anyone have any booze?
Sadly, no.
Pretty sure somebody in your team does. Someone's been taking bourbon. There's been bourbon and I think whiskey and stuff handed out in some of the things. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure someone's got alcohol with them. Or maybe not added to people's inventories. We'll see. Kenku's getting weird with the audio tonight. Super sorry to the people listening.
I have the HRAD drinks, sir.
Got the hard drinks, Max says.
Plan B is we could try to flush them out with fire, but that worries me for whoever's down there, for who he has hold of. I didn't get a good look at who it was.
Well, actually, it turns out if you want to try it, I've got a nuka grenade.
Oh.
Yeah, we might be able to try to throw the nuka grenade at the wall. I can't throw it though. I can't see that well. This radioactive kind of fog is clouding my already dark vision, my already bad vision.
Who's an expert thrower? Raven, maybe?
I'd say so.
Above board.
I can try throwing it, sirs.
Is it throwing or is it explosives? We went over this a couple times.
You know what? You're right. I think it's just guided by explosives. Actually, pardon me. You great call out. Throwing is exclusively limited to like throwing axes and javelins. This is specifically the explosive skill, and I do believe Raven, you may have switched it. I want to say you reworked your build a bit for this at one point. I don't know if that reflects.
Yes, I did.
in the character notes that we have already. I think so. I took it from everyone's alchemy, so hopefully, what's Raven showing as? Athletic, sneak, survival. Oh, those are your tag skills. That doesn't mean you're actually limited to that, though. She's saying she's ready.
I'm tagged in Boom Booms.
Oh, you are. We'll have to adjust that in your thing. I have a different 3 in there. Okay, Raven's tagged in Boom Boom, so she's got the explosives one. Well, let me just check the rules on. I don't know how we exactly determine the difficulty on a thrown item. Let's check the rules, everybody. Pardon me, that was something we will do here on occasion. If you're watching this in VOD format, you can just skip through if you want.
No, I'm sorry, Reed, that we're not tagged.
Not tagged. That's okay. Tag just means you'll have a better chance to crit if you roll it, but that doesn't mean you can't do that. So let's see. You're going to try a nuke a grenade, you said? That's the plan? Nuke a grenade the wall down, huh? So a nuke a grenade will do 9 combat dice worth of explosive damage. And let's see. Tiny handheld tactical nuclear weapon. And nuke a grenade is extremely dangerous to use. Dropping one is ill-advised, but devastatingly effective. Comparable to a mini nuke used by the Fat Man launcher. Wow. That sounds big. I think probably I want to be above the table with this. Setting off an explosive device of that magnitude in this area will probably lead to a massive cave collapse, but that's not impossible. And we could run some sort of scaled test for this where, I mean, the difficulty in this is coming in because you want to use a really big explosive charge in the heat of combat to bring down a wall. I believe this charge would have no problem taking the walls down. But I think the difficulty is whether or not you all are intact with that as well. So I'm thinking you're looking at something like a difficulty 4 or 5 test here, just to be fair. I will warn you, if you scale down the explosive, like if you're willing to use something smaller, that will probably work better for this. But that's just my oversight. I'm happy to exchange ideas on this.
Raven, do you have a mine? You had mentioned it last week.
Just as a heads up, thrown explosives, base difficulty is equal to your target's defense, modified by the range. So for blast weapons like explosives, you select the zone. You're about close to medium range with it, so I'd let that only be a difficulty 1. So you're looking at a difficulty 2 test to hit the monster. And then, but I know you're not aiming for the monster. So again, like I say, I think the 2, I'd gladly say a difficulty 4 test. And again, it's because we'll calculate the monsters 2 in, but we're saying 2 because I think that's a big explosive. From reading the description of it, you're looking at unleashing a tactical nuke in an enclosed space.
Well,
Go for it.
Since
You're no fun, Sam. I have mine and a coal.
maybe we should try using the mine instead. But to go ahead and get us to that turn, I'm just going to go ahead and go through my turn. So I'm going to walk back here to take a few steps away, and I want to rally.
Ooh, great ability. Great ability. So you're going to try and generate AP for the group then, huh?
Yes, and it's typically an endurance survival test, but I was going to see if I could do, 'cause it says that GM may allow you to use a different attribute for action depending on how you describe it, such as charisma speech to inspire allies. So I was going to say, I got a good look. Well, I had a good idea. Maybe I had some explosives trainings in the past in my military, and I kind of guided her on how I think she should arc it to hit that wall back there.
Sure, sure. You know, with that, I will gladly, if that's your plan, I will gladly give you that rally. We'll go ahead and run the test. What would you want to swap in instead for those? It was charisma and speech is the default.
Yes.
And you want to swap them?
Endurance survival's the default. I was going to swap it to charisma and speech.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read the bottom of the rules instead. You're right. You're absolutely right. It even says that in there. So by all means, charisma and speech it is to inspire your allies. I will also say on top of that, you can assist Raven whenever the time comes for her to do that throw. Then you will get to add one D20 to her roll. So why don't you go ahead and do that? And then we'll explain to chat a little bit about how these rules work in general. 2 successes it is. Okay, so what does it say for that one? Difficulty 0. Save any action points you generate. So that's 2 action points back in the pool. Okay, chat. As they get ready to transition over from Sam's turn into Jim's turn. So Jim, you're on deck here. Okay. I just want to give them a briefer on the rules here because this is different than like a 5e system. In Fallout 2D20, the Modifius 2d20 system, you're always rolling at minimum 2 d20s, just traditional d20s. They then have to score a certain amount of successes. Instead of rolling high and that being good in like a 5e game, you're rolling low. You want the lowest numbers on the die. In fact, getting Snake Eyes, getting 2 1s on there would be great. And in fact, for a lot of these skills, getting anything under like a 3 is often great. The higher level they get, the higher the threshold for their roll success. So when they're just starting out, they might need to roll something like a 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, 5. But as they leveling up in the game, their skills are enhancing, and so that ceiling goes higher and higher. Where eventually they just need to roll under like a 13, or hey, if they get really fancy, under a 15, 16, whatever it is. However, if they do get a 20, 19, etc., it depends on the test, the difficulty. Those are complications, and they can collect those. So it's almost like a crit fail. It's still a pass on the test, but there's some sort of complication, whether they lose their next round in combat or whether they take like a small point of damage or something. Again, you succeed, but it's some kind of minor cost. This game's all about a sort of gambling and negotiating with your game master. Again, it's very focused on the narrative story, so you can do what you want to do. You just might have to take some setbacks, like maybe your foot falls, you break through the boards, and we had someone do that before. I think that was Sam, who was trying to stealth and rolled a complication, and his foot went right through the floorboards and the stairs, and not so stealthy. Okay, with that being said, I think we're going to go over to Jim now. Jim, why don't you take us away? What are you doing with your turn?
I think I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna move back because I think last time I was taking radiation damage, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm backing up.
Good idea.
I don't really know what else to do because I'm back behind. I don't have any clear shots or anything. I think I'll just end my turn.
You could rally too.
Oh, rally! I'll rally.
Absolutely, go for it. You can roll the same sort of test. It's what we say: endurance and survival is the default, or speech and charisma. Also, if you have a better idea, DK, if you have an idea of like what other things you might want to do, you're a tech guy. I don't know if you can help. Any of your skills would seem like obvious helps for Raven, who's about to do that. But if you can think it, you can make it true.
3 successes.
3 successes. What'd you go with, by the way, on that? I'm sorry, I missed the roll.
Speech and charisma.
Nice. Oh, great. Yeah. You see there, everyone, is a great example. So DK's character, Jim, needs to roll under an 8 to count as a success. That's his target number of 8. He has a 3 in speech and a 5 in charisma. 3 plus 5 is 8. Rolled a 7 and a 1. The 1 counts as 2 successes. The 7 counts as 1. So he brought 3 action points back to their pool. They can have a maximum of 6 of those they can use for bonus actions in the game, attacks or other things. So DK, go ahead and add those into your
Okay.
action point pool. And if you're going to pull Jim out of there any further, he is welcome to do it. Whatever you want to do. Like you said, you're ending your turn outside the radiation, which is good. Raven,
Yes.
that pulls you up to the table here, unless Jim's got anything else.
Nope.
Then that passes it. Raven, save the day. Save us all, please. The dreaded Wendigo.
Mr. Sam and Jim, how do I prime the mine, sir? There no pin.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a great That's a great question. You could throw it and have it land, have it impact. Throw
What
it
if we-
face first.
what? Okay. I mean, I was gonna say we could place it and then shoot it, but I don't know.
No, if it's a frag mine, it has that. It's got a short fuse before it blows up. It does that beep 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 before it blows up. So just activate it with your hands and then chuck it.
Oh god. Similar in
And
design.
also-
Go ahead.
I was going to say use all the AP you want to.
Okay, just press this plate thing.
Similar in design and construction to a frag grenade, a fragmentation mine is instead placed on the ground and uses a pressure plate or proximity sensor to trigger detonation when someone gets too close. There you go. You can throw it. You can press it and throw it. I have no problem with that. Difficulty 4 on this, though, so be mindful how much AP you want to spend on this. Difficulty 4 is making sure that this hits where you want it to and that the cave face does not collapse down on top of you all. We'll see. By the way, what will the complication range be on this table, just as a curiosity? Oh dear.
Okay, I press and throw. I will all the app this time and pray to the wise Mothman.
You do it. Pray away. Go ahead and roll. Like I said, spend whatever you got to spend for it, Raven. Don't be shy. Aha, here's the complication will be anything 17 to 20 on this, by the way. 17 to 20. This is a precarious test. Precarious. Sounds precarious. Before Max sends our message, I just want to say sorry to the gang in chat tonight that you guys are not getting the audio for the Kenku bot. It was still being weird. Even Raven's TTS bot was sounding chunky to me, like it was all choppy and weird. So I just put it local to my side tonight so that the recording gets a little smoother. Sorry about that.
Okay.
How many die do I get with the AP?
Good question. 1 AP is 1 die. 3 AP is 2. And all 6 AP are that'd be your additional 3. It's 1, 2, then plus 3.
We had 5. Can we just buy one from you? Oh dear.
You can, but it has to be, I believe, during the test. She has to do that. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to buy one, Mac, you can do that now during your test. We had learned and played a slightly different rule, looser rule with that before, where the players can buy AP from me, the Overseer, but it's only during...
I will buy 1 pat.
It's only during combat they can do it. And the danger is when they buy an action point for me, I also get an action point to use against them. So buy the action points for the GM, says Captain in chat. Yes, Mac's going to buy one. Okay, so you have 6 action points to work with. That means you can add 3 additional D20s to your roll for the maximum amount of 5. Sam is also going to be able to assist you in this roll tonight. Jim also can, because Jim succeeded in his rally as well. So why
Here we
not?
go.
Okay, what's she rolling? Let's see it. Whoa!
Holy.
Half. Ooh. Okay. So Raven got half of the needed successes there.
I did good.
Yes, for
Well-
collapsing, for harming yourself, absolutely. 2 of those are complications in there. I will give her a chance if she wants to spend any luck to fix this. They can spend luck to re-roll some dice, and after that, it will go over. Sam and Jim, we'll let her fix this first if she wants, and then you 2 will get your chance to roll.
I have 2 luck.
You got 2 complications, the 17 and the 19. The world's your oyster. I mean, you know, the wasteland's a very safe place for everyone. We all know this. It's very safe. Safety's our number 1 priority here at vault-tec. That's why we'd never let you go in the wasteland alone. She's typing. She's typing. She's saying something. What's she gonna say?
Can I re-roll both or just one?
You may spend 1 point per. So yes, you can re-roll both the 17 and the 19. That will wipe out all of your luck if you only have
Okay.
2 left. Yeah. Go ahead and re-roll that 17 and 19. These might be 2 successes, gang. Even if she gets 1 success on this, that would put you guys 1 step closer. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Sam, Jim, you 2 may assist. Raven kept 1 complication, and unfortunately the dice were a little cruel tonight. They did not get to the next. Biscuit says, how's D&D going tonight? Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I like the 19 tonight.
That's right. She's rolling those 19s. So Sam and Jim, you may both assist her with this, and I think for the sake of it, this is using both of your explosives tests, even if that's low. You already did your rallies using different things, so I think in this assist, it's pretty fair to say this one's got to be limited to explosives. If you have a great rebuttal to it, I'm happy to hear that, though, if there's a better plan. But based on everything I've heard so far, it's still sticking to explosives for you two. Captain says you're doing great D&D rules, not so much for Fallout rolls, though. That's true.
I'm just gonna roll 1.
Yep.
D20. My target number's 3. It's a miss.
Got you. Oh, okay. Okay. Sam's got a 17 in there. DK, you rolling with Jim?
Yes.
And what was your target number, DK?
My target number. What was the? It was explosives, right?
Yep, it's explosives, and explosives are governed by perception.
Okay. It was 6.
Ooh, unfortunately. Oh, okay. So we're rolling with it, folks. They tried very hard to get this through. Raven, with the guidance of her comrades, hits that button, hits that pressure plate on the frag mine, and it immediately starts its beeping countdown. Raven goes ahead and she throws it, but in this limited space corridor, it ricochets off of the wall here. I'm assuming you're trying to throw it. Can I ping it here? I don't know if that'll come through on the screen. I'm assuming you want to hit maybe one of these walls near the barrel itself. Yeah, it did ping through there. Good. Okay. Yep, that's where you're hitting. Great. Well, was great. So you're throwing it in there. Boop. And that thing comes back. We're going to say it lands after it smacks off the wall over there. It hits and rolls right back over to about here on the map. It comes back over to you, and in just enough time for your characters to realize what happened, to see some panic in your eyes as the reflection off of your eyes is nothing more than the bright explosion of a frag mine going off in fairly close proximity to all of you. I'll actually, let's see. What's a frag mine's damage, folks? What are we doing? That is 6d6's worth. Who's all in vicinity? Raven and Jim, why don't you both go ahead and do the roll for me if you don't mind? Go ahead and roll yourself 6 d6s of that this is your combat dice. So go ahead, 6 combat dice. This damage is at minimum going to be halved because of the distance you are away from it. So Jim rolls 4 damage for himself, I believe. 4 damage for himself, I see. And what do we got from Raven here? Whenever she's ready, 6 combat dice, please, just like Jim did there in chat. Rip. Bloody mess inbound.
You're looking okay, Jim.
Yeah.
This explosion goes off, and more than anything, Jim is hit by shrapnel from the blown apart cave wall. Raven being closer takes 2, 4, 6. Still, we're going to have that for you. That goes down to 3 points of damage. What I say for Jim, you took 2, and she takes 3. Again, blasted. It's the shards coming off the walls. These, like, you've made projectile stalagmite type ricochets of the rocks. Things are blowing. There's dust coming out. That whole area is sort of caving in here, pushing you guys back a little bit. I'm going to say that in a natural sort of retreat, I'm going to move you guys just a little bit. Natural retreat of your character sort of panicking and just stepping away from the explosion here. I'm going to add some fog back in because, unfortunately, that does mean you guys have sort of lost eyes on this Wendigo here for the moment. We'll see in a little bit what ends up happening. I believe, is that the end? Raven, do you want to do anything else for your turn before we do the sort of environmental turn here? Anything else you got?
Holy goats, that is awesome. Do it again. Give me that nuka boom. Me want more booms.
Boom booms. Okay. If I don't hear anything else, I'll assume that's a turn concluded. Chat's out there saying rip, rip, rip. They got pretty lucky, but I will say, health points in this game right now are maybe a little low. I don't know what everyone's health is. Do we want to go round robin and maybe people could tell us that? Well, why don't we go in the order that we got everyone coming up here? So, Sam, if you don't mind popping that open to take a look and report, and the same with Jim and Raven. Let us know what your healths are. Maximum and give us your current. Maximum and current, if you don't mind.
Maximum 18, current 11. I fortunately hit the stimmy recently before everything kind of went down last game. I healed up.
Smart. Jim, what do you got for HP, max and current?
Max, I think, is 14, and current is 8.
Got you. Raven, what do you got over there? That's some pretty good HP, though. They fought a whole round of ghouls that sort of jumped them outside in the last session. So from that sort of encounter to coming right in, they were violently attacked by the Wendigo in the cave. I don't know that anyone in the party really knew what was in there. I think it was more Raven was drug in there against her will by one of those ghouls. So she's typing right now.
15 horsepower and 9 horsepower.
For those at home, anytime the bot translates it into horsepower, that just means HP, but honestly, it's a lot better. I like that they call it horsepower. She's got 15 horsepower, but 9 currently. Got you. Everyone seems to be about in the same approximate health point. So with that, let's just take just a minute, just a breather here to recap. So the explosion, now we're pushed back a little bit into the cave. You're sort of stuck in this area. I am going to say that it's about now you realize there becomes a rumbling in the cave, that this area is far from stable. You've now just started something much bigger than even I knew was going to happen tonight. So with that being said, I am going to... every time your turns conclude collectively as a group, I will roll a die on my side to determine the cave's stability I'll use the same sort of mechanics and metric that we're using. So the closer I roll to 20, the less stable the cave will be. The closer I roll to 1, the more it is. And this is sort of an open-ended experience here. The cave is going to potentially collapse in segments. We'll kind of figure that out as we go through here and see if that causes anyone damage. But just start us off with a 13. Okay, that's going to be a pretty level spot for this one. That's actually a pretty accurate reflection of what you're feeling already. The cave is certainly now unstable. For those of you who are astute to this, Raven, you're very much a survivalist. For either Jim or Sam, who maybe have spent some time around studying cave structures and all of that in the past, potentially, you would know that this rumbling is real bad. That there is dust caving in from that room. Every once in a while you see these like notable shifts where some broken rock actually like spills out more. As far as you can immediately see, the area with the Wendigo is at immediate glance closed off. I'm gonna let a turn pass here as I figure out what our Wendigo's doing in the back. And I'm gonna pass it around to the group here. I know we're still in like turn combat order, but you're all collective in this. So if you guys want to decide and talk amongst yourself with ideas, I'm gonna roll some things on my side here. So let me go unmute as you talk and decide.
Well, gang, we're in quite a pickle.
Yeah.
Raven, I will use my next turn to heal you. I was wondering if you wanted to go get a look and see how everything is going. If there's a path through, if there's any, loose rocks over there, because, we still do have a sledgehammer.
Beautiful point. So
Raven, make big boom. Can I do it again? Sure, I could scout the area.
That's a great idea. Let's have her scout. The Wendigo is moving, but his icon's not moving on the map, just as a heads up for people. That is not an accurate reflection of its location. Whether it's still there or not is what you won't know. I remember people were looking at that last time. So just to give you a heads up, that is not an accurate reflection. Raven, why don't you go ahead and do that? Pretty rough situation here. Difficulty 3, perception. Honestly, I'm going to hit you again with a difficulty. Yeah, I'll do difficulty 3. You just blew a thing up on yourself. Let's do difficulty 3 on this test. That is to account for the fact that there is debris and there's risky ceilings and all the rest here. Why don't you go ahead and roll that up for us? Perception and survival test. Difficulty 3. Nice.
God, beautiful.
Great roll. So she just clipped in there with a 3. Her target number is 14. She rolled a 9 and a 3. So the 9 counts as 1 success and the 3 is 2 successes because she's tagged in that skill, which means she crits under whatever her skill level is.
Mothman got me, boys.
And you know what, Raven? It's in that moment that you're thinking this, that you, in the chaos of all of this dust, carnage, sound, explosions, in yourself being a bit stunned, you took some damage. Luckily, no one took any critical damage in that explosion. But it is in your kind of state, everything's, your ears still ringing a bit from both the Wendigo's scream last time and due to the close proximity explosion of this frag mine in an echo chamber. In your semi-delirium, that state of almost not being able to hear, it is then that you feel like you see 2 eyes in front of you. What color are those eyes, Raven? You can tell me what color of glowing eyes you see. But there are 2 glowing eyes staring at you from just over the horizon here, I'll sort of ping that on the map, the same area that you had been looking at before, where you can make out this rough wall shape, this newly formed cave addition, if you will, that you've redecorated yourselves. You see some eyes there. What color are they glowing, Raven? Oh,
Purple.
she sees purple eyes shining out. And when you see those purple eyes, your character's attracted to those. This is something you've wanted and witnessed before. This is something you, as a cultist of the Mothman, find to be almost for a brief moment like paradise. Like in this most chaotic situation, you have some sort of sign in front of you. And as you step forward, and I'm assuming you are, you can correct me if you're not moving, but as I imagine you move forwards towards this area, it is then that more of the rock face begins to crumble and collapse. And it actually comes so far as that the smaller fragments of stone begin to pour down almost near your feet. And though not shown on this map, you have found a sort of hallway, a little, I hesitate to call it much of a passageway, but you found an area in the rock that is, again, newly redesigned. It's not big enough for people to walk through, which is why I won't call it a sort of a hallway. But it is probably big enough to crawl through. However, what its destination is, if it's a short ending or not, that's a different story. I don't know. If you're interested in scouting it, we'll have you just roll another perception and survival. And this one will follow again on a we'll make this again. I'll make this a 2 for this one. This is more just to determine what sort of space you just found. But it's, I think, interesting for your character. And I don't know if that's something you'd share with the group later, but in the darkness, you saw something. Was it there? I don't know. Was it real?
It the Holy One, the Wise One, Jim and Sam look. I go to touch him. I must follow the moth path.
And that's when she goes to reach out towards the wall that it begins to collapse. Interesting to you, Raven, without you touching it, without you actually touching the wall with your hand as you're about to. And that's the weird part. That's the thing that only you would know, is that it's when you're about to, you reach out. To everyone else, they would just assume that you touched it, that you made the collapse. But right before you do make contact with the rocks, that's when they slide down. So your choice if you're going in there after it. Did you just, nope. Okay, again, you have a chance to roll to see where it goes.
Must follow.
Okay, two difficulty, perception, survival. Yeah, endurance works acceptably here too, but. Okay, she has a 19, which is a complication, and a success. So, Raven, as...
Goat damn 19.
I know, 19's the number tonight. As you begin to crawl, again, you being someone of the wilderness, of nature, of this sort of environment, not an completely uncomfortable situation to you. You, Kyle will kill me yet, says Raven in chat. You begin fumbling around when you notice a new rumbling coming through in the cave. I will say, you have the option how to react in this. You can either, as this rumble begins to happen, you can either go forward or you can go backwards. That's the choice. Forward or backward, that's your complication. You choose. Will you pursue the Mothman, the Wendigo, whatever is ahead at all costs, or will you return to your friends? Was Raven healed first? No. Does anyone else out there who didn't use their turn? Sam, if you're interested in healing any of these characters, or Jim, you're also tagged, I think, into healing. So if either of you want to perform any of that on your turn, I don't think either of you have used your major action. I'll consider what Mac's doing right now to be at minimum her major action, but probably her minor action too.
I move forward.
And with that, Raven, as you see her, Jim, Sam, Alfred, as he's hovering by, Master Raven, I think you should be careful about going into spaces like that, as this place seems structurally and a ceiling right behind it, all of that rock that was so loosely packed and stacked begun covering up right behind her. Raven, that's where we're going to end your turn for now. Hazemaker calls out, Sam, you said you were going to heal Raven. Did you get a chance to do that before she went in there? Was that your intention?
Yes, but she's campered off. So
Gotcha.
I mean, it's too late at this point, I would say.
I think so. If I railroaded that, by the way, I'm happy to go back and reassist that. I did not hear you say that, so I'm sorry. Hazemaker, good call there. So I'll kind of leave that to you both. If you wanted to get that done before she went in there, that's okay. If you're happier, if you're willing to be with the narrative here where Raven has just gone on to the other side, she's down the rabbit hole, so to speak. So I'll let you guys kind of decide whether she may have gung-ho, like, just gone into the thing. Like, we'll let her explain this. Sam, you and Jim then in order.
Yeah, I'll take care of Jim. Lore-wise, there's no way. She saw the eyes. The eyes, that's her character. She followed the eyes as soon as she saw them. I didn't get a chance to do it.
Sounds reasonable to me. I think that's the way the Raven works. I think that's how she goes. So, Sam, while she's typing, you're going to prepare for a healing maneuver on Jim. You're still in combat, so you're able to do your traditional, like, by the rules heal here, the first aid ability. Pardon me as I get all that pulled up again.
I'm going to do first aid with a diluted stim pack, which is 2 HP. Great. Okay, and I think he has no permanent injuries or no injuries that would add difficulty to it. So this should be a difficulty 0 test on this one, is my understanding. That's my thought, right? Yeah, should be. I went ahead and threw it out.
Yeah, it's difficulty 1 if you're doing it to yourself. Just want to make sure. You tossed your dice for this? Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Jump the gun.
No, you're fine. That's great. I was just double checking all my things because GM brain. Feel free to add those 2 action points back into your pool. You got 2 successes on that. And how much do you heal Jim?
At least 2. Let me double check on that. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I have int and medicine with the difficulty of the number of the patient. It should be per your amount you have in that skill.
Oh, yes.
Where the hell it says it, I don't know.
4.
4?
So 6 total?
6 total. Jim, 6 HP back to you. Where does it actually say in here? Kyle the Note Man doesn't know his own notes. And Jim.
Yes.
What are you thinking of doing for your turn here?
Well, I'm gonna call out to Raven and say, "Hey, Raven, are you all right?"
Okay. That is a great. I like this. Go ahead. Sorry.
Because it's odd. It's odd to just like, oh, I see some eyes, I'm gonna follow it. You know.
We are going to do contested roll here to see. Well, I think a contested might be the way to do this. Jim, why don't you roll a charisma and speech test for me and just use the standard D20. You probably wouldn't want to go any higher because I think that'll make your difficult. I'm ad hoc in this to chat so they know. So go ahead and roll that. We're going to get a baseline for your test. Okay, got that in mind. Got it for me. Thank you. Raven, you need to roll if you want to try and hear this. You gotta, this is going to be a difficulty 4. I'm sorry you're getting hit with the heavies. It's difficulty 4. I'm making a difficulty 1. Your proximity is not large, but you have a negative modifier to your ability to hear because the Wendigos scream exclusively because it screeched in your ears. So it's adding 3 to your difficulty to perceive what Jim is saying. So if you want to try to reestablish connection, that's what this is going to be about. Difficulty 4. Perception and survival, I think, is probably the way to go for this, Raven. I think that's going to be your best. 2. Nothing, Jim. You yell, and absolutely nothing comes back at you. Nothing.
All right. Well, Sam, what should we do? I mean, like, I'm just so lost because Raven has just wandered off.
Could take the sledgehammer.
That could work, and I could try and break it down.
I'd gladly say that you can use your major action still, Jim, to do that. We'll say use your minor to try and get in touch with her, and your major action. That's probably, again, not by the rules, but I think that's fair. You tried to yell out. But sledgehammer time. You're welcome to take that to the wall. It has a difficulty 0 because it is something you can easily hit. So any action points you generate or any successes will turn into action points. That being said, because it's a wall, it is going to have a higher damage resistance. So let's just... Actually, I'll roll one of these to see what its health is. Okay. So I got a health and I got a damage number in mind, or damage resistance. So go ahead. You're welcome. Remember that you can spend AP to add a combat die to your melee attacks. That'll increase their strength by 1.
Okay. Let's see.
Spend an action point, get you 1 combat die. Yeah, okay. To Captain in chat, the difficulties in this game are very subjective to the situation. It's very much on the fly. You can add those 2 back into your pool there, DK as action points, and then you can decide on how much damage you want to throw. Again, it'll be whatever your weapon is, plus if you want to spend action points. Every 1 point is 1 combat die. Raven, we'll be catching up with you in a second. To Captain in chat, he says, again, about the difficulty. So they're very subjective, and I do them all very ad hoc. There's very loose descriptions in the book about how they should be run. A 0 means the players are always going to succeed it, and they have a chance to get some action points back from it. But as you go up there, that means they got to start scoring more and more successes to get past it. And those difficulties are usually things like monsters have a certain difficulty based on their size. They'll have less difficulty to hit the bigger they are. If they're very nimble, they're going to have a higher chance or higher difficulty level. When you start doing things at night or with obscured terrain or vision or anything like that, it starts adding your difficulties up there. So, Jim, what do you got for combat dice for us?
Combat dice. Let's see. Oh, what's the amount? Because of the sledgehammer, what's the amount that I need?
Oh, geez. let me find it.
let's see. Yeah, I don't have, pardon me, that's not in front of me. Is it in your sledgehammer, Jim? It should have something in there about it.
Well, no, I don't have a sledgehammer. He's giving me a
Oh,
sledgehammer.
pardon me.
We had gotten it from when we were trying to break down into the radio tower.
5d6s is what I see.
Yes, 5.
Okay.
And if you ever want to use it single-handed, its difficulty goes up by 2. 2 sledges.
All right, that is 4.
Okay, let me see here. 4 combat. Yep, 4. Okay, great. Got it. Noted. Jim, you slam that into the wall. And at best, in this first attempt, you see the looser bits of stone there blast off to the sides around your impact zone where you strike. Rolling a die. You got unlucky. You got a Vault Boy on this one, which I'm going to say in this case, when you hit that one, you notice... Actually, not so much. You see some of this begin to like kind of roll out, tumble out in front of you. There begins to be a little bit of clear outline of this hole that you kind of see, but it's still very much covered in crap. There's stone, loose stone especially, has just filled in that space. So when you're hitting it, right now, at least with this first swing, just blasts off some of that loose stone. That's it for the moment. You can make progress with it, but that first strike, not getting you too far right now. We are, by the way, getting to a very good point with us taking a 10-minute break in here. How about we aim to do that in just the next few minutes? We'll try and do that by 9:15, so say 5 or so. Jim, is there anything else you or Sam want to do for your turns? I think everything's used up for you two, unless you have last minute.
Nothing else.
Raven, we are going to get ready for our break with you, and what I will leave you with. You have just crawled into this space when you so focused on these eyes in front of you, so focused on the fact the wall effectively opened for you at your grasp, not even your touch. As soon as you get on all fours and begin crawling in there, as you had called out to your friends that, you found this area, you found the eyes, it's almost as if you don't notice it poured down behind you, as if it has engulfed you, encompassed you, and ensnared you in blackness. There is nothing around you, no sounds except for shifting dust and sand and debris. You can hear every once in a while a little psh of a certain newly settled group of rocks gives way, and you hear the sound of debris just pour out. In this absolute darkness, as you've chosen to crawl forward, as your vision is so focused on what's in front of you, which is now nothing. You're crawling in a direction where there is no discernible light, there's no discernible eyes, nothing yet. Raven, let's leave you on another check here. This is just going to be to determine where you go. And in fact, we're not going to give you a difficulty for this one. I will let you roll as many d20s as you want to score as many successes as you want. This is a chance to determine what is to come. And it's at this time, chat, we're going to get ready to go on a break. We'll get her roll in first, and then we'll see where it goes. Beautiful start to tonight's session. I thank you all for coming and joining us. Again, this is going to be a 10-minute break. There'll be an ad roll on the screen for some fun Fallout commercials. Let's see what she does. See, vault-tec is evil. The Vault Boy is unlucky. Hey, here at vault-tec, we strive to be the #1 provider of high-quality survival goods and services. What'd you roll? Did you roll? I didn't see it. I'm so sorry. Okay. So Raven rolled. What's your perception survival? You have a target number of 14. 1, 2, 3. Good enough for me. Raven got 3 successes on her roll there. I'm going to put my thinking cap on here for just a minute whenever we do our AFK. So everyone, let's get ready. Get up. Go stretch your legs. 10 minutes on the clock. There will be a timer that rolls past here. Let's see. Whoop. To everyone here, be good. See you in 10 minutes.
Regularly study your vault-tec provided materials to prepare for
Hello,
survival. And to
comrades.
answer the question, do you know what makes you special?
Do you know what makes you special? Okay, let's get back into it. Hey, I'm just going to throw up a character thing for a moment, just so everyone can see. This is who we're diving back in with. We've got Skylar playing Sam. We've got Raven, or Mac Ravenblood, playing Raven. And we've got Official Dark Knight playing Jim. So with that, without further ado, we'll just pull right back in here to our game content. Yes, Captain. I don't have the name of all those YouTube channels off the top of my head, but I gotta say, 2 of them are by a great creator out there who has done these 3D renders of Sugar Bombs and the Nuka-Cola Quantum ad. And then most of the other ones are just directly from Bethesda. There might be another content creator in there here and there, but I should get the names for that again. I don't have those handy right in front of me right now. But do we have everyone back at the table? Sam?
Yes, we do.
We got Jim,
Yes.
we got Sam, and we got Raven here, I believe. Okay. Hope everybody had a good break. We're getting back into it. Raven, you had just rolled a couple dice before we parted ways. You found yourself in a trapped section, or an collapsed section, I think is the word for it, of the cave tunnels here. This is not really visual and visible on the map. We're going theater of the mind here. But as you're going down there, unable to hear your friends behind you, you are sort of tempted forward. There is a sort of a pull in a way, and in your mind, it's as if you're not traveling through stone anymore, but as you're moving forward, it's almost as if you're outside. You begin to see, well, what you can't see, I should say right now, when you can't see in this pitch black, you begin to see as almost light begins to come in, but not bright light. It's more of what looks like moonlight, like a whitish blue kind of light fills the space around you, and you get the serious impression that you are outside. Do you choose to move forward further? Are you going into this? Are you going backwards? I just want to get sort of some feedback from you before I lead you along on an adventure. Sam and Jim will definitely get back to both of you in just a moment.
Okay.
I'll let Raven have a chance to type. Raven. Hopefully she's here. We do have Raven back, right? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Okay, I don't think Raven made it back in time. Okay, back to the group here. Sam and Jim, you are outside. Jim, you had just taken a swing at it and had minimal results come through. What are your actions now? Would you like to keep taking some swings at it? Do you guys want to come up with other plans? Do you want to try different areas?
I want to keep swinging because I think I can break it down.
Okay. Jim, go ahead. Same sort of exact roll you're going to do before. You can get your AP off of this swing, and you're welcome to reinvest all of any AP you gather, right back into it if you so choose.
Ooh.
Nice. 4
Yes.
action points back. Double snake eyes. Okay. Go for your damage there, Jim.
All right.
And again, every AP spend is 1 more combat die you get to roll.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
4. I see 5 points of damage. Jim, with that one, a rather substantial chunk of this begins to get blasted away. Another powerful swing of the sledgehammer as it cracks down. Even more of that heavy slag that's sort of poured over it begins to break aside. In terms of progress, because of course you haven't done it in just this one hit, but I want to tell you that you are making, especially with a roll like that, substantial impact to this. It can't be long before this rock face gives way to you. Jim probably still has a minor action available if he wants to use that in any way. But Sam, are you doing anything in this time? Do you want Mr. Handy Alfred to do anything in this time?
I am going. Maybe he and I. Can I collect pieces of wood?
Sure.
Off of this pallet?
Absolutely.
Because my plan is that if we are able to get into that tunnel, I want to stabilize it with some pieces of wood.
Got you. Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and do your own perception and survival test? Difficulty 1, though, because this is old pre-war lumber that's sitting around. And so I'm sure you're going to find quite a bit of it is unusable. So let's go ahead and just see what results you get here. Oh, nice. Is that a complication of sorts? Let's see. I don't know that it is on that roll. Is it just 20? Need to refresh my brain. GM screen here. I said difficulty 1. So yeah, it's difficulty 2 at 19 becomes a complication. So you're clear. Sam, exactly what you wanted to find is right in front of you. You find nice, decently actually preserved wood in this section. This is clearly not an area of the cave that got very damp, although there's mushrooms growing right above it. I will say that a lot of the moisture kept away from the boards you find down here. Of course, some of it's dry rotted, some of it's useless, some of it's bad at this stage, but you're able to scavenge enough pieces that you could use this to support some amount of tunnel. How long that goes for, I think it would be sufficient for whatever you're trying to do.
All right, well, then I will hold on to those while he is hammering away. Thanks for the help, Alfred.
Oh, happy to help, Master Sam. I just hope that we can get Raven back. Do you think she's become one with the dreaded Wendigo?
I sure hope not. I hope that we can get to her soon.
You know, this reminds me of all the comics I used to sort for my previous master. He had a great collection, and in fact, I have some knowledge on this subject, but I'm not sure you want me to bore you with those details now. It's just the yammerings of radio programs and comics from yore.
Yeah, this does remind me of a few old storylines from back in the day.
I very much agree. I didn't think we'd ever live to see such a creature. This wasn't anything that I was designed for. I wasn't like Rip Daring's. Well, Rip Daring happened to have a great Mr. Handy on his adventures, and I seem to remember him being the brains of the operation. You know, in fact, this is great. I love this. This is wonderful. Thank you for inviting me along. I'm glad I get to be the brains of this operation.
I'm sure that you're probably smarter than all of us put together, old Alfred.
Oh, I do try. I don't want to come off as any kind of braggart, but, you know, sorting through the Master's comics for 20-some years, as you tell me, it's, well, quite an enlightening experience.
Let me ask you something, Alfred. What do you think Rip Daring would do in this situation?
Well, first, he would probably go philandering with the local women in the town, probably meet someone at a bar and have a quite rambunctious night on the town. Well, and then I could see him coming to something called the Magic Grotto. Probably not to pursue a Wendigo, though. But I think his trusted Mr. Handy would recommend... Well, we could try to flush it out. We could set fire to the cave. Oh, I have a great torch here for that. If we smoke it out, that could be good, but... there is a risk we could suffocate Master Raven in the tunnels, and that would be not so ideal.
That is true. But, you know, the idea of trying to flush it out has been rattling around in the back of my mind. Jim, after hopefully you can get this tunnel open, what do you think about trying to get that other one open? The one with the Wendigo. Or the one with that dastardly creature. I think I heard it called a Wendigo.
Sorry, was that a question for Jim, or did you ask me? I apologize.
Jim.
Gotcha.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
What do you think about hammering away at that other wall where the Wendigo is? If you can get this one away, after we get in there, I can try to go after Raven, and we can try to free up that space so that, you know,
That could work.
just in case this tunnel doesn't lead down there, or if perhaps it does and we need a second exit. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have that open.
I'm down to do that. Yeah.
Can you ping on the map for me where you're looking at here? So sorry, you're gonna... Jim's just moving his hammering location, is what I heard.
Well, not at the moment, but once we get Raven out.
Got you.
Yeah.
And I think we have Raven back now, too. Raven, I don't think you got to... Oh, sorry, Sam. You want to continue?
Oh, I was just gonna say, if we can flush it out, maybe we can try. We need to lure it away from. Hopefully, if that person's still alive, hopefully that's Hell's Bells. We need to lure it away from them, grab them, run out of here, and if we can get out of here before the Wendigo, we could throw that nuke grenade and potentially just collapse this whole mine.
Wow. As your overseer here, I think this is a fascinating plan. Unless there's any more actions that you guys want to prepare for on your turn, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Raven here, and then we'll circle back to you both. So,
I think that'll be it.
Okay, great. Raven, we have you back now. Where we last left off
I only see the darkness, I have lost the eyes. I remember I have a healing salve, and use that to heal. It heals 2 horsepower. Also, I turn on my flashlight.
Perfectly fine. So, the one thing I don't think you heard narrated was that as you're going through this from pitch blackness and what is hard stone under your hands and your knees, to you, all of a sudden, you notice what sort of appears to be almost like a moonlight coming in. And pardon me, I don't even remember what time of day it is, though slightly irrelevant to this exact encounter. As you're, again, crawling, you sort of breach into an area where it feels like it's moss under your hands and feet, or grass and foliage now, dirt instead of stone. And this light sort of opening in front of you, you see a wide open space within the cave, a large, almost atrium, a grotto, if you will, in front of you, with a pool of sort of pond, lake water, maybe a little bit of a stream rolling through it as well. Sort of hard to take it all in at once. But again, this cave is just opened up into a semi-lush area. You can see that there are large cave walls that go up what would be multiple stories, maybe 4 stories or something worth. And it's by no means does this look hand dug or made by any kind of manufacturer other than nature's changing seasons and spilling waters. That, in fact, one area of it does have a waterfall pouring in. You see a kind of light glistening off of that. It's a bit in a distance from you, but you can see how probably over the years this area was carved out through moving water. There are some pine trees here, some evergreens, enough light during the day cycle that probably pours down here to keep some amount of life and greenery going. So as you apply your healing salve, and you do, maybe you pause for a moment to take some of this in, and your flashlight, I don't know if you want to use that or not. Pardon me. I think you would said that before I got a chance to give you a little background there, but you're still welcome to pull out your flashlight. In this area, because you're in a cave sort of grotto, it almost doesn't matter the time. That's why I say I forgot the time of day for us at the moment, but it doesn't much matter because the sun doesn't hit this area for a full cycle anyway. Just like you're between rocks, if you imagine the sun going over, you're only going to get certain slivers of light. Beautifully reflected in here. Gives it that kind of ambient glow in a sense. In front of you, though, are no immediate threats. You don't have eyes on the Wendigo yet. You don't see much movement, although you could roll a difficulty 2 perception and survival to get another glance of this place and see if you can gather any more details. I don't know that it much matters for me to move Raven's icon because it doesn't really matter for everybody here, but just to give somewhat of an idea that she's probably crawled maybe that far, into this kind of area. She's a couple blocks ahead on not that we really use a grid system, but she is a couple blocks ahead on that. We'll just put her there for approximation's sake.
Wow, it's so peaceful here. I will sit by the water and pray after healing. Then I will look around cave.
Okay, so you're going to take some time here. How much time do you want to spend here praying and healing? Are you spending... Is this a quick 5-minute thing, very fast, or is this more of like a 15 to 30-minute sort of thing as your friends are out there? It's completely up to you.
About 5 minutes.
So she's going fast. As you get over to the water face, as you're kind of kneeling down to pray by the sort of shoreline here, doing kind of reverent Mothman prostration. It's about this time you do notice there's insects here. There's some, at least, beginning to notice animal life in here. The longer you're in this space, there's probably a frog that jumps into the water. You hear that splash. You see some dragonflies. You know what might actually be an interesting thing is that in some parts of this, you're seeing bugs that you haven't seen much above ground. That a lot of the bugs you're seeing here are not their mutated counterpart of it. That instead of like a rad toad that's the size of your torso jumping in, you're seeing what's more traditional of a bullfrog, maybe a little bit bigger. But not like what you're used to above. That this area is a bit of a grotto, defended away from the rest of the cave network. Whether this loops back around to where the Wendigo is, whether this is an isolated area that you found by mistake. That is a question I can't answer yet.
Wow, normal animals, we must save this.
It's about the time you have that realization that there is a moth that settles on a rock in front of you, sort of just loose rock cropping that you find by any water's edge. And it lands in a way that it is almost looking at you, if not through you or around you. And it just sort of flexes its wings. And it sort of begins to groom itself as they do. I would like you to, if you want to have the option to do so, let me see here for a second. I mean, you are a survival and perception person. That would probably make some of the best sense here. We're definitely going to go with survival. But can you roll survival and charisma for me? And I just need to know what the number, like how many successes you would get. So we're changing it up. It's a little off the beaten path. We're doing survival plus charisma. So swap those two in your roller. Okay. And Raven gets 2 successes with that. With that, you are in proximity of reaching out your hand. And I don't know if you would reach your hand out open or if you would just give it the back of your hand. But as you put your fingers down on the rock face next to it, that moth, without much hesitation, sort of just flicks its wings twice. And for a second, you swear you could see this moth almost rear up in the sort of way a Mothman might, or the prostration of the prayer goes. That this moth, just for a moment before it puts its legs up onto your hands, up onto your fingers, just again arcs its back in a way that its wings are out to the side. Whether that's in your imagination or not is to be determined. But with that, it crawls onto your hand and right up your arm and right onto your shoulder. She's typing.
Little Mothman, it's a sign.
Could be a sign. Raven, I am about to go back to our other players who have patiently waited. How would you like to conclude your time here? Is there anything else that you want to take note of or take stock of or anything like that? If you want to do, I guess I'd offer that there's probably an opportunity to maybe forage here, but I warn foraging in this game does take some time. So it might not be appropriate. Technically, by the rules, it takes an hour to forage. So that doesn't have to be that way. But Kazono, welcome to the stream. Good to see you, Hazemaker. Thanks for hanging out here. Hazemaker says the guys outside. I don't have no idea about that. You're right. You're right. While Raven's typing, I'll use this as a self-promo time to say, reminder to everyone, these episodes are going on YouTube, on Twitch, and we got them on your podcast players. Tales from Tomorrow. That's the name. Tales from Tomorrow. If it doesn't pop up immediately, you can put in like TTRPG Fallout, and it'll definitely get you there. TFT Substack. No, sorry, tftfallout.substack.com as well. It's pinned in chat. Raven, any last things here? I saw you were typing a message.
Feel at peace here, but I must get back to the others they need. Sorry, Mothman, I will be back, wise one.
And with that, as you kind of make that realization, that moth hops off of your shoulder and flies you had gone straight into this cave and you'd probably gone straight up to this pool of water. So the way it's going is sort of a U shape of where you came in. So it's not going back the way you came, but it's leading you to something, let's say, off to the left of that area. Where it goes exactly, hard to say. But I'm going to assume you might pursue that. You can let me know the opposite if that's true. But I'm going to go back to our other friends first. You can decide on that. You let me know, actually, in chat, Mac. You don't need to use text-to-speech, though, for that one, if you don't mind. Just let me know if you follow that or you stay with your own thing. Aye, aye. Back to our other comrades here. Jim, you're probably about to take another swing unless you're altering your plans. Is that right?
Yeah, about to take a swing.
Go for it, man. Same sort of thing. Sam, I don't know if you want to do anything different while he's in the process of that, but I'm assuming this is another good old swing at it. 2 more action points back into the pool, man. This is a good way to generate AP. And then go ahead and roll up those dice. Again, any action points you spend, add 1 combat dice per action point. Up to 3. Up to 3. There's a limit. I didn't say that before.
I'll add 2 extra combat for 2 AP.
Excellent. Go for it. Jim is up against he's up against a damage resistance on the wall. If any of you out there play like Baldur's Gate, you'll know this is toughness. Damage resistance takes a certain amount of your hit away. Jim, on that one, I wanted to double check your weapon. Okay, that doesn't have any fancy effects. You rolled a lot of effects, so I wanted to make sure the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I wasn't missing anything. 2, 4, 6 damage. Oh, Jim, with that, you got a big piece, a heavy, almost like a sheet of rock that had come down, shatters, breaks away, and you have the very rough entrance to a tunnel that has presented itself to you. It is much more difficult to enter than when she did, and for that reason, this would cost... I'm just going to throw it out to both of you, and you guys can negotiate different ways to do this with me if you want. But I'm just going to say it's going to cost you an extra thing of movement, like 1 to enter this in a turn, and then 1 to follow. So I think actually what I'm trying to say is it would take your major and your minor action to get into that tunnel and move in your next turn. It would... cost that because you have the crawl in there. For Raven, it was all nicely kind of just falling away. But for you both, you're getting in there, sharp stone at that, want to be careful. And I don't know that Mr. Handy could go in there super well. It's still a lot more of a crawl space, so sort of up to you guys how you want to roll with that.
I'm still full up. If you want, I'll do this RP. I got some energy left. You seem to be a bit tired out to be able to crawl through that. So do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll go through. I'll see what's going on. See if she's
good.
there. Once I get through.
Well, why don't we pause right there for a second to see how long this will take you to get through it? Why don't you go ahead and roll a perception and survival test? No difficulty per se, just like Raven did. This is sort of a guided experience. Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, if you want to try to get that other thing open.
Yeah, I'll catch my breath and I'll take care of that other wall.
Breath. I was gonna say, we got these bones here. If you want to try to use some of those to prop it open, make sure it's not collapsing.
Right.
They should be pretty strong. They look like pretty fresh. Still got the blood on it.
Sam, right. As you make your way in there, are you going ahead and putting in the boards that you had found from before, the lumber?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, I will say, because you're doing that action as well, you're definitely not going to clear this tunnel in this turn. I think what we'll do maybe on your next turn is just some sort of brief roll here just to see how that's going for you. Why don't you do it now? Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm thinking this. We're ad hoc in the whole thing. I don't think there's anything in the rules about how to run a broken cave. So why don't you go ahead and roll like 2d20, and let's just see what the results are for your successes with building. And for your skills and such, we're going to use 15 and 19. Got you. I don't think it really matters what skills we're using for this one. I just wanted a vibe check. There is a repair skill out there, actually. And I think probably in the future, maybe this would be repair sort of thing when you're building. Let's see if it actually says that in there at all. Oops. I just covered it up. Repair encompasses building and repairing items for guns, weapons, traps, complex mechanisms. So in the future, something like that would probably count as a repair. For what we're doing, I just wanted to know what sort of skill and efficiency Sam has in this. And unfortunately, not much. Or maybe fortunately so. Maybe it's that Sam is taking his time to make sure that he does not trigger another cave in. This area, for those that are just joining into the session, is opened up. It's off the map. We don't really have a good spot to show it for you. I'll try and make something for the future, maybe, if this is, something they return to. But for now, this is an area that was just opened through the explosion of a frag mine. So with Sam taking some time to put those in there, I will say, Sam, because your hearing is also really scuffed in this, you probably aren't picking up too much. What I will point out is that what I'll say is, as you're going through there and putting in some of these boards at appropriate places, you actually notice a path that goes to the left and one that keeps going straight. Specifically, this is now me talking above table for a second. You don't know which way Raven took, for the record. It's your choice of where you want to go at this stage, if you want to go to the left or you want to go straight. But that's something you can think of for the next turn. How about we come back to you on that one? Jim's completed. Sam's completed. If there's any weird things you want to do, I think we've used everything, but I was going to say if there's any standout minor actions or anything, just flag them for me next bit. Raven, you've chosen to pursue your moth friend as it leads you further on your journey. Why don't we go ahead and do it? I'm sorry. I'm just pounding the same roll tonight, but let's do another perception survival test for you, Raven. Let's see where this gets you. Perception survival. You could spend AP if you want. There's not a test level on this one. This is just, again, open-ended adventure time. Perception and survival. We're going to see what you do. Oh, and I'm sorry, she was going to write something as well. I will take your roll, and then you can type that. Aye. Okay. Got you.
Guide me, little buddy.
I'm rolling for your little buddy. Okay. Your turn, unless you plan on doing anything too intensive, or if you want to do something extra, is mainly going to be pursuit of your friend. And the trick is that this is a moth who is now leading you into a darker part of the cave. You do have a flashlight that you had pulled out, and maybe this is the time to utilize that. That it does appear like your moth friend is leading you. And as you follow it and as you flicker the light on, I think one of the most notable things is the area you're going is walking height. At minimum. It's actually probably double walking height. You could probably stack, 2 people on their heads and walk them through. So we're looking at something like a 12-foot ceiling maybe. And actually maybe even more than just the ceiling. It's kind of a winding path. There's some pillars of stone that you kind of wind your way through. Very sort of open still in the grotto effect, but now you're going away from the waterfalls. You begin hearing the sound of water moving becomes more distant behind you. You hear the dank echo of cave as you go ahead. And I will ask you a question now, just like I asked Sam. The question for you, Raven, is would you go to the left or straight? I'm going to ask you the exact same question. I know you got a moth there, but I'm asking you. Left or straight? This is a complex mind game.
Left.
Raven faces a little bit of almost an impasse as the moth you were following lands on the rock face in front of you, a rock face that's separating two paths. And as you kind of look, shine your flashlight down both hallways, nothing immediate comes to your attention. But as you're drawn to this more leftward path, you begin walking, and your moth friend keeps some pace with you, at least as much as you can look over your shoulder and give it the attention. You're moving forward in unknown territory. Hard to look over your shoulder for a moth, a bug that is easily misspotted in this light. And as you travel, you find yourself in less and less space as the path that you are on now begins to shrink and shrink and shrink. As you now are in an extraordinarily tight portion of the cave, what skill would get us through this? How about you go ahead and I think it's going to be your athletics and strength, but could it be something else here too? Oh, I'll let you choose athletics and strength or sneak and agility. It also allows survival and endurance, but yeah. So those are your three: athletics and strength, sneak and agility, or survival and endurance. Difficulty
Sneak.
2. We're going to do difficulty 2 on this. Okay. Sneak and agility, difficulty 2. You can add AP if you need, whatever you want to do. 2 successes. Wonderful. And with the ease and finesse of someone who navigates through parkour and all other means, these collapsed buildings of the above ground, traveling through these tight subterranean or semi-subterranean corridors is no problem for you. What may have trapped and killed some other adventurer, again, proves no match for someone like yourself. In fact, what you notice is that while you're trapped in this small, confined space for a moment, that this moth actually flutters right ahead of you, right through, as if guiding you back on this path, that the decision you made is leading you somewhere. With that, Raven, I don't think you have any actions left on this turn, so I will return. If you have to the team, if you have any other thoughts, feel free to type them in chat, and I'll look at those in a second. To Sam and Jim, this is it. Jim, crack it open, man. It's already you're hitting this new area, right? You're gonna go after something different.
The new area, yes.
Okay.
Over here.
Go for it. So if you're hitting a wall, again, it's going to be a difficulty 0. If we're going to do the same thing. You can spend any AP, get off of it if you want to add those back into your combat dice. Oh, wonderful. 3. Jim's just killing it tonight.
Oh, my God.
He's got some muscles hiding under that lab coat.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, again, you could spend all 3 of that AP if you wanted to add more combat dice. It's all up to you, man. Save what you want, keep what you want, or use what you want.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, a good heavy. He got a 2, 4, 6 hits on there, 6 damage. So, kabam! He slams into it, and you actually do see quite a substantial slide from that, even more so than the previous area that you were just hitting at. This one, especially looking directly where you are, this area begins to collapse quicker. This is closer to the source, by the way, of the what's the word for it? This is closer to the source of the frag mine explosion. How do I do this? I'm trying to remove a little bit of fog over here. So I'm just seeing a little bit
you
more.
happen to say that we got AP from that?
Yes, he got three AP from that. And then I don't know if he spent any.
No, I didn't spend any.
Okay.
Is it too late to spend? I don't know if that counts. I don't know. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I was gonna say, because could he use one? Since we're full up, can he use one of them?
Nope.
For the
Burns off. Yep, burns off.
Into the abyss.
That's right. That's right. Just like a lot of us in Stellaris with the yellowing out on your income. Same sort of approach. Once you get to that cap, anything extra sadly burns off. But still a substantial hit, and it maxes out your AP pool, which Jim could theoretically do another hit on that wall if he wants, just as a reminder. I mean, you could hit that again with 2 AP. It would up your difficulty to 1, which is still nothing for, the wall that's right in front of you. So
I'll just wait till next turn.
Aye. Sam, that brings us to you. You are within this area. Did you choose a direction? That's what we're up to now. Left or straight?
I'm going to go straight.
Okay.
But I want to make a note that just as I'm doing this, as I'm building this, starting to feel a little bit anxious. It's a tight space, feeling a bit claustrophobic. The fears, somewhat setting in, especially with this choice ahead of me. So I just, I think about, and I wonder, could that fellow who's been following us through this time, the mysterious stranger, could he make it into a place like this? So, I'm going to spend 1 luck and just hope maybe he could come at some point if we encounter something that will attack us, like the Wendigo again.
That's cool. I like that. Okay, with that luck point, and if he doesn't show up, as a reminder, that comes back to you. So, Sam, as you begin traversing through this space, you are met with water under your hands and under your knees as you are moving your way forward. And I think that fear you have is maybe me reaching some kind of crescendo at this stage, because now you're in a space that, running water in caves and all of that, being in tight space is not a recipe for success. And you have the option to traverse forward through this, which could be a great, easy outlet to somewhere convenient, or it could be to somewhere less convenient. You have the option to move forward or go backwards. You are in such a confined space that your options are pretty much just that. I mean, of course, you can use like anything you have in your inventory, but as for other alternative pathways where you've kind of meandered towards, I will also say that like some of the water that you're picking up on is coming from above you. In fact, it's sort of rolling down the side of the part of this crawling path that you are in. So it's like it's doing a semi U shape or a C shape or something like that. It's coming down and rolling down the walls. Then it's sort of pooling where your hands are, and it sort of streams ahead a bit. So if you move forward, you're sort of following this trickle down of water.
I think I will. I'll follow that. I'll go straight, but I'm gonna take it with some caution.
Okay.
I'm not gonna burst through. I'm taking it slow.
Why don't you go ahead and roll a sneak test for us? So sneak and agility, I believe, is the numbers we're looking for. Yep. Difficult. Oh, hold on. How do I do this? How do I do this? What's the difficulty on one of these? Because I'm taking into account stuff. Yeah, we'll make difficulty 2 here. Oh, yeah, difficulty 2 for that. So if you want to spend AP, you spend AP. If you don't, you don't. This is just to determine how well you're stealthing. In all this being said and done, right? You're on your hands and knees crawling through an area. You've got water kind of splashing under your hands and your knees and your feet as you're trudging through it. Stealth, maybe a little bit challenging.
I paid 1 to get an extra die.
Got you. And with 1 success, you are a bit loud. A bit loud. As you begin going further into this space, you're following the water now, almost more than anything, because at this point, there are some other areas that look like they're opening up. Whether they go long depths or not is hard to say. At this point, I'm going to assume you're going to just keep following this path laid before you, unless you want to, and this is your option to tell me if you want to kind of mess around in any other corridors. Actually, it's completely your choice if you want to follow the stream or not. I shouldn't even railroad you that far. I don't know what lies at the head of each of these paths. So the choice does remain yours. You could follow the water, which is what I presume you might do, but you could also go off into these sort of little offshoot areas. I can't promise you they go much further. They may go exactly where you want to go. You might fall out right on top of Raven's head, on her shoulders. I don't know. Straight, left, right.
I'll continue to follow the water, but I slide my hands down to my backpack, and I reach in and I pull out a Nuka-Cola Quantum, and I use that as kind of a glow stick.
Ooh, neat.
And I'm gonna use that as I'm crawling through here to kind of just shed a little bit of light for me.
That's super cool. With the fluorescent kind of bluish glow of a Nuka-Cola Quantum, still its radioactive charge enough to give off visible light on our spectrum, that you are following this water through, and you begin to hear a roar, but not the roar of an animal, not that you can tell. Instead, it's the much more familiar roar of a waterfall, of water rushing. And as a man of the wilderness, as a man who's meandered, it wouldn't take you much to pick up on what that is. Not so much visible where you are, though you know it has to be somewhere around you. Above you, potentially, where the water's coming from. Below you, potentially, where the water's going. I think that's about where we're going to leave Sam for a moment. Jim just went, so Raven, we're going to go in that same order again. We'll do Raven, Jim, Sam. So Raven, you're following this pathway. You had gotten through this really tight space. By the way, Jim, why don't you go ahead for us while she's going to do a little bit of her role? Why don't you go ahead and carry out some of the maneuvers of your swing, assuming that's what you're going to do again, just so I have some damage numbers waiting. That way I won't bog you down. Same exact roll as before. So 0 difficulty on your strength hit for melee, and then... yeah, we'll see those numbers. No AP back, but it still connects. No problemo. Raven, the space that you're crawling through, the one that was getting tighter, begins to open up. I'll wait for some of your messaging here. But in the space you're going to, the hallway begins to gain space. No longer are you sandwiched between 2 tight walls, but finding yourself entering or opening up to a kind of lower cave floor. I say lower because there's some stalactites, stalagmites, coming down from the ceiling and the ground here accordingly, and you see some pillars of stone separating this space, but ultimately you see more paths that wind up. And it is at this time, Raven, that you hear actually, do you hear anything? Difficulty 3, perception and survival test because of the difficulty of the Wendigo blasting your eardrums out. You hear nothing except the sounds of water leaking down. You hear the occasional shift. I will note one thing. You notice in this region less shifting of stone and rock than any of the tunnels that you walked through or crawled through earlier. More so, this area is still better put together. And Raven, it is upon you rounding a corner that you do take witness of a shadow of a spindly shaped creature. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's the person you're looking for. Maybe it's Hell's Bells. Maybe it's one of the compatriots. You see a shadow. That's where I'm prepared to leave you, unless you want to directly do something here now.
Still following the path, hoping my little is taking me to my friends. Is that Jim?
Okay. We will conclude with that. Jim, you are up. You need to roll yourself some damage still. And then we'll see. And with that, you rolling a 6 on damage, a good number, knock down the remainder of the area that's there. So tell me a little bit, what's the goal again with this sort of thing? You want to get back fully into this space, is that right? Or how do you want that to go here?
I think Sam had mentioned that to break this down in case like it connects from where he's at to them, and then it could be like a second escape exit if need be.
Got you. Well, you have your success at breaking it down, and what you're left with is the partial, a much dimmer but still noticeable green glow of radioactive contaminants in this hallway. That now there is a somewhat decent level of stone covering some of this, but it is not fully covered. And with that, I will say that the radiation damage in this area is taken down from 5 per turn to 2 per turn if one ends their turn in any of the irradiated green space here. What I will say also is that your visibility down that tunnel is fairly well gone. That's probably at best what you're kind of seeing of this space now, because it's much more caved in here. Big explosion, big landmine kind of going off in there. If you want to move forward or do anything extra, you should still have a minor action on this turn. Otherwise,
no, I'll end.
Jim. Okay, so Jim succeeded. He broke apart his wall. He needed to. Now we are back to Sam. Sam, you are traveling, I believe, through there. You had just heard water. You're following it forward. Any changes to your path? Any alterations you want to make? Any comments you want to draw? You've got your Nuka-Cola, your Quantum, shining light in front of you.
Is this doubling up on both my minor and major action still? Could I use a major action?
Yes, you can use a major action, yeah.
Furthermore, is what the Wendigo did to us, does that count as like kind of an affliction that I could maybe heal with first aid?
No, this will leave you at the end of some kind of rest here. That's technically to the end of this scene, but good question. It's not listed as it's not an injury per se.
Right,
I don't think there's much you could do to fix your ears, to be fair. A stim
That is
pack,
true.
maybe, but
Well, I
you
didn't
know, if
know
you jam a
maybe-
stim pack in your eardrum, I'll let you heal it. But but aside from jabbing your head with a stim pack, I think you just got to wait it out till your hearing comes back in full.
All right, just wondering.
Good question. Great
I'll just-
question.
I'll continue on.
Okay.
Just continuing with the water.
And as you follow along with that path, you, Sam, see, as you're holding this Nuka-Cola up, this quantum, a break in the rock face. You are now looking into a medium-sized corridor here where there are pillars of stone and the light trickling of water. In fact, the water that you've been kind of wading through, crawling through, is one of these sources that kind of, I guess in a sense, you're almost like coming out what in many video games might be like an air duct level, if you will, to an open space, just to give people like a vibe. You're coming out of a sort of tunnel that's already maybe on a second floor of open space in this cave. I hope that draws us somewhat of an image for people. An open space, pillars, second level, and you see a flashlight. You see someone shining a light. And I'll say it's a flashlight because of the shape of the light it's making. But it's not aimed at you. It's aimed sort of straight ahead to a wall that you are kind of looking at. Choices are yours now, what you might want to do with the remainder of your time here. You're still able to travel or not. This isn't so much a major and minor action thing, but it's a choice of what you might want to do, whether you want to stay to the space here and can maybe sort of hide and wait for whatever comes, or you could get down there and greet it. Whatever you wish to do, Sam. Raven's on deck.
I would like to try to go over there, but I would like to approach it stealthily.
Sure. Do you stealthily approaching? I will say you failed your stealth check on the last round, so as stealthy as you want to be, you are not. Also, you're holding a glowing Nuka-Cola bottle, which...
Well, and yeah, I was gonna put it away for that. You know what? I'll risk it for the biscuit. I'll just go towards it.
Good risk, because as you shimmy and slide out of this sort of space, kind of lining yourself up, it's one of those things where you have to kind of shift your backpack, throw your legs out over this kind of ledge, almost like in real life, you're like sitting over a railing or something like that, where you're really using that torso to kind of keep yourself on the edge before you do one of those slide falls down the wall as best you can to slow yourself. Your feet hit on what's already sort of like loose-ish pebbles there. You kind of have one of those slide forward moments where you're not sure if you're going to grab yourself, but you do. You steady yourself on the wall as a bright light shines right in your face. Raven, your turn. As you are presented with what was not a monster, but your friend. Sam has come in here to find you. Though it is not Sam's direct turn, you two are in the same space, same time, so we'll take your actions and things together. You two can chat amongst yourselves. I will let Raven sort of say hello, and then Sam, you're free to interact with her accordingly. Jim, don't worry, we're gonna get you here in just a minute. These two need to decide on what actions they take, what directions they go.
Oh, well, man, I guess I can't whisper.
Sam, it's you. I found little moth buddy.
You do hear that, for the record. You're not deaf, but you are greatly impaired for your hearing.
Raven, is that you? I'm glad to find you. I'm so glad you're okay.
And a pond?
A pond? All the way down here? That's fascinating. I don't know exactly where we are.
Yes, sir, with frogs.
Frogs? Tiny frogs? Not those big, giant, mutated ones?
Normal ones.
That's something else. As much as I would love to, check that out and everything, we've got this thing lurking about. It could come after any one of us at any minute. We've got to try to find it. I'm hoping that we can maybe try to push it out. Get it into a more open area.
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess if that moth is still showing you where to go, if it's been good so far, I'll follow you.
You see it right.
Does Sam see it?
No, I don't. But, it's dark. My eyes are bad. I could just be missing it.
That's very interesting. We're gonna conclude both of your turns here on a check where Sam can assist and Raven's Moth can assist. But it's gonna be a difficulty 3, perception and survival, and this is going to be for you two to kind of hoof it. Whether this succeeds and whether it gets complications are going to dictate some outcomes here of where you go. Just to be very, very, very clear. This is going to guide your path. Difficulty 3, perception, survival. Everyone can assist. Like Sam can assist. Your moth can assist here too.
Should I use a app?
Kyle doesn't have an answer to that question.
AP.
We have plenty. Go ahead. Also, these if it comes down to it, I can drink this Nuka-Cola Quantum. It gives you 5 AP.
Whoa!
So, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Wow.
Okay, I will buy one.
Okay, 1 AP then. Two D20s then. So there are 3 total, I'm sorry. And there's a difficulty 3 test, so you need 3 successes. Complications are going to be an interesting affair. I don't believe that Raven has luck to reroll complications, just as a heads up. I'm having an absolute blast with this tonight. You guys have made this such an interesting adventure. Never could I ever have predicted the paths that you all go. Let's see, did she roll it here? Pardon me, I was off to the side. 5 successes? Holy crap.
Absolutely incredible.
5 successes. Wait a second. Should she have rolled that? How'd you get so many dice? Out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Holy Mothman.
Yeah, let's have you re-roll that. I'm not sure. Did you mean to spend 6 AP? That what you roll would cost you 6 AP to roll. Which, if that's what you have and want to do, is perfectly okay with me. If you only meant to spend 1 AP, then you meant to roll 3 dice. Which I
rolled Sir and Pre.
I'm not sure what that meant, but it's your choice.
Survival.
Survival and perception. I think that's what you were meant to do. But it was just that you were supposed to roll less dice. I mean, it was a survival and perception test. So here's what I'll let you do. It's your choice if you want to.
Only 3 dice.
Yeah, I'll be open and say, look, you can keep this one or you can re-roll it with 3. If you keep this one, you have, 4 successes, but you also have a complication. So it is completely your choice if you want to keep this or re-roll it. You have no ability to re-roll individual dice, though. You got to either scrap this roll or keep it.
We'll redo it.
Okay. 3 total is what your three of these combat dice. But it's the same. It is survival and perception here. Wow, that's even better. 2, you got, well, maybe not better, but it is. Because those are, what's your tagged? Okay, so 6 is a double. So 2, so that's 4 successes off of that. You can refill your action point pool accordingly. Much better because you lost your what's the word for it? Complication. Sorry, brain fart. Question. Now comes with this. Would you like? I think with that level of success, I'm going to offer it to you both. Just as almost more of an above the board question. Do you want to, with this great success, find a straight path or a quick path to a Wendigo, or do you want to find your friend first? Opposite directions, roughly, from what you know.
When you say our friend, you're
Jim.
not finding Jim. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, not whoever, not that person, but that's a good question. As far as you know, they're with the Wendigo or dead in the hallway. We don't know. I do, but you don't. Someone blew up a frag grenade in a frag mine. So, again, the question for you both, with that great amount of successes, do you want to beeline back to Jim, or do you want to proceed to find the adversary?
We made it this far, Raven. I mean, going back to Jim would be basically reversing all the stuff we just did. So if you want to head on and find the Wendigo, I'm down. And then hopefully, maybe we can lure it to where Jim is, and we can all get him.
Let's
together.
hunt this beast.
Let's do it.
Okay. I think that about concludes. Yeah, go ahead. But I think you're both done about with your actions here, approximately with all that. But you had the thought.
All right. Oh, never mind. If we're done, then.
Yeah.
Well, actually, can I spend AP and can I heal up Raven?
Yes, you can. But this is a bonus action on your turn because you just went, and then her turn, and so I would say you can either wait until it rolls back to you after Jim, or you can do it now, but it'll cost you AP to do it now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Wait, for which one? You want to spend AP or not?
As far as spending AP.
Okay. That's fine. Go for it. It does make your difficulty a 1 on this test, though.
Okay. All right.
And that's your intelligence and medicine.
I'm gonna use diluted stim pack with it.
Oh, okay. So you'll do what, like 2 extra points of healing on top of your skill?
Yes. So yeah, that way if I fail.
That's 2 successes, so you get to 2 AP back. You go ahead and do that, and I don't think that 19 counts because it's a difficulty 1 that comes in on difficulty 2. That it's the other one. So no complications on that either.
6 back to you, Raven.
6 health points to Raven. We are going to let you do that management on your side as we pivot back to Jim. Jim, you are in this area. You just crashed down the wall in front of you. The green glow returns in that area, but a muted color, not nearly as vibrant, not nearly as immediately irradiated. And And you hear Alfred go, "Oh, Master Jim, great success in taking down that wall. What an ace swing you've got. But the problem is my sensors are again detecting that area. It doesn't look good. Or more shall I say, if you're standing in front of that area, you, sir, don't look good. It's not your looks, it's my eyes. But should I go in there? I'm not as affected by radiation, though my eyes might be, but I am not. What would you like me to do, Master Jim? And what would you like to do?"
Well, Alfred, I mean, I really would like to get a view of the area inside there, but as a human, I can't go in there and get a look without having some sort of effect. So if you could do some sort of scan while you're in there to look and see what all is in there, and then report back to me, that would be very handy.
That's exactly what I am, Mr. Handy, here to help. I can gladly undergo such a tumultuous struggle for you. It would be no problem, but I do hope that ghoulie is not waiting for me on the other side, though I am armed. And he whirls his buzzsaw up in the air. You can also see he goes to sort of extend his flamer, but sort of thinks twice about igniting it in such proximity to potentially disastrous materials. Well, Master Jim, I will take my leave from you, and he is going to proceed in. That's going to take him about his full turn. DK, he'll report back to you in the next round what he finds. But if you want to do anything else with your major actions or minor actions on this turn, I'm not sure how many points you've got in the pool, but you could rally, you could heal yourself. I don't know if you're missing any health points, but
I'm trying to see here. I guess I'll rally for this turn. Yeah.
Sure. Zero difficulty. You can kind of make a choice of what you want to do, whether you want to do the speech check on it, or I think it was endurance and something is the other. Sorry.
I'll do speech because it's a pretty high one for me.
Speech and charisma. Then you're sort of talking to yourself as far as this is.
Well, true.
This is Jim's pep talk. Him and the rocks. Like, oh shit, where's Mr. Handy? Hope he's gonna be okay. Maybe you're motivating Mr. Handy as he goes off on his path. You got this, bud.
Yeah.
2 AP back in the pool with that. And if you did want to add anything to that narrative, you're welcome to do so.
No.
So with that, he goes off. Jim is set. Back to our two comrades who are deep in the thing. You have decided you're going to continue hunting the Wendigo. It is not. Well, we're gonna do another stealth test. I'm assuming both of you are still trying to be stealthy. You're now in a group. Raven had said she wanted to be stealthy before, and Sam did as well. So as a group, you're both here together. I'm going to give you another chance, but its difficulty is going to edge up more because you're together in a cave. Difficulty 3, one of you can lead, one of you can assist with this. So I think Raven probably has the higher skills on this. I think she's tagged in sneak, maybe. If that's the case... Sorry, say that again.
Oh, yes, I will follow. For sure.
Beautiful. Raven, just to see how you're stealthing, why don't you go ahead and roll that for us? Difficulty 3. And Sam, you're welcome to chip in on that one. She did succeed, but at a cost.
Oh, fudge, sir.
Yes. Oh, fudge, sir. Sam, did you want to? You can assist if you want.
I was just double checking to see what I'm just gonna roll it, and we'll take the first one.
Yeah. Oh my stars! Holy crap!
The exact opposite. Heck yeah!
That is exactly what you needed to roll at that. Like that, literally. So with that, Raven's 1 success is coupled with Sam's 2 successes, which does check the 3. You still have a complication, though. As you are traversing, keeping as quiet as you can, you are on the hunt. Raven leads the pack as, I don't know, Sam, you put away your Nuka-Cola. Yes? No? Maybe?
Yes.
Raven, you using a flashlight or no? You're trying to be stealthy as a reminder. So lights in a cave with stealth is probably not great. But how else do you see without some light?
Turn it off, sir.
Okay. With that, you're traveling. You're traveling what is fairly open spaces, and your Raven, I should say, is following what she can see as this moth in front of her. And what's interesting for her, at least, I don't know that Sam sees any of this per the previous mention, that this moth for Raven is staying about as close to her eyes as possible. And to Raven, you'd swear that this kind of gives off almost some sort of bioluminescence to it. Almost as if it has a sort of, I don't know if reflective quality would be the word for it, but almost as if this moth has some sort of vibrance that comes off of it, almost an aura or some sort of light, small, low, muted, barely visible to anyone but those who are paying attention directly towards it. And as you're traveling, you hear an absolutely horrible, guttural scream coming from not much in front of you in this corridor. You are probably a room, maybe 2 passages away from this. It echoes off the walls, almost sounding as if it's happening right in the room with you, almost disorienting in the sense that at first what limited hearing you have makes it even harder to tell if this sound is behind you, in front of you, to the side of you, above you, right in front of you. With your complication, you two are not nearly as stealthy as you think. Your complication for this, and I'm happy to negotiate, but I think the fairness to this is that you are stealthed to make the first sort of actions that you want to make whenever you see whatever you were looking for. We know what you're looking for. But you will get the first action, however, you will not get a bonus to your stealth attack. You are not that stealthy. You are getting the surprise, but not the surprise attack. That is my suggestion for your situation. Otherwise, I think the other reasonable one might be that you could get some sort of maybe stealth. I don't know how that would make sense. My brain goes, the other option is that you would be detectable, but you might be able to get some sort of stealth attack in first, but it sort of doesn't make sense because the other creature would then get a go at you. If that sounds reasonable to you, I think that's the situation you're finding yourselves in. And I'm calling this out to you very above board because you are now entering the final sort of chamber in this space. And I don't know how far forward you guys want to go with me narrating before you sort of decide what you want to do. So I pass it to you both.
After kind of hearing everything, I'm going to pull out my shotgun and just kind of follow Raven's lead still.
Raven, what's your thoughts? You're going forward? You're hearing a scream. It sounds like a person's scream. Could it be a ghoul? Could it be a monster? Could it be the Wendigo itself? All of those are possibilities. Could be someone that's trapped. Could be someone that's hurt. Could not be a person.
Sam, our prey is near, sir, or is he hunting us? I draw my bow.
Okay. I don't know how much more you guys have in this turn. Would you like to... I'll let you proceed forward, and I will let you get to that room before we pass it back over to our comrades here. Let's see. Okay, what would you like to do? She got her bow out. Sam's got a shotgun. Edging forward to this? Question mark?
Yes.
Okay. in this space where there's kind of these plateaued, there's these little raised areas, you are able to go up a kind of embankment that you're on what almost amounts to, I guess it'd almost be a full wall of height. Like you're almost, again, about a floor above this next space, maybe more of like a half wall height. And there's sort of a rocky outcropping that gives you a bit of visual protection from the next room. There's a little bit of distraction to where you are. You're hidden and obscured. And as you look over, you see what, especially Sam, after discussing with Alfred out there, has understood to be the Wendigo. You see this creature leaning over what, in this very dim lighting, there is some ambience to this room. There's just some kind of glow. Mushrooms in the corners, especially the green mushrooms, pick up and continue here, which is potentially also a sign of the radioactivity of this region. That this is tainted fauna, flora from up. This is now wasteland materials here. That you see this Wendigo biting into this person who is sort of splayed out on the ground here. That's where we're going to end both of your turns and go back to Jim. Jim, your Mr. Handy is adventuring. He is going down a hallway here. I'm going to roll some dice for him. He does a fantastic job with his sensors. He quickly, even through the radiation, begins making a sort of mental digital map outline of this space, taking note of a couple corridors and other sort of areas. He hears that scream and he pivots and hightails it back to you. You actually hear very quickly. Well, quickly. It's been 5 minutes approximately, or maybe so, since he's been gone. Maybe closer to 10, 15, even if it feels maybe longer than it is. That Jim, you hear, Master Jim, oh my God, I've heard the most startling scream, Master Jim. I've taken note of the area up ahead. I didn't go any further. I heard something, and I returned to you as you asked. I would tell you it is not very safe for a person, but I don't know what that was, and if it's your friends, maybe you need to go and help them. What do we do? He asks you, Jim.
Well, I could try squeezing through the wall here and getting through and following them, but I might get myself lost because I don't know which way they went.
I have a question about that. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was building that stuff, and I don't know if I built that stuff behind me. So if he could follow that, but I don't know if that's gonna.
That's a great question.
Interfere with his decisions.
Oh, that's a great question. Sam, how do we ask this in what order? How about we say this, and you two can kind of negotiate this decision. And Sam, there's probably a dice roll in here, maybe if you want. You don't even have to share it if this helps you make your decision. The question is, how far would you have had to go with that? Jim did know to some degree that's what you were doing. So, Jim, you might be able to follow that path. It sort of depends how long Sam was able to get that stuff. You don't really know this, Jim, but again, to Sam, it sort of depends on how far did you build that out? Enough when you made the decision to take a turn in the cave? Or did you sort of run out before then? Or I'm imagining you probably did not have that much material to go very far, not off of planks and things, but that's my thought. I don't, there's not exactly a firm depth to how far these caves are. So maybe you want to roll your own dice and let us know. or maybe just even let me know. Again, Jim, it sort of comes a question to you. What do you feel most comfortable? You're absolutely right. You could go down that path and get lost. You could also risk the radiation and have a more direct path to the scream.
I can I prose something? Can I, not to throw it back to Jim, but
Sure.
I want to prose something. You know, we'll say it's to that triangulation, like you were saying, to the intersection. Could he try to roll a check and look for, like, the gravel and see if it's been disturbed? Because I imagine if we're dragging ourselves through here, it would leave some sort of trail.
I think that's perfectly reasonable. That would fall under a perception and survival check for Jim if he's trying to do that. Yeah. Again, complications in there could send him who knows where, just as a fairness point. So I'm not forcing you any direction. There is you don't even have to go further if you don't want to. But I will say very certain. But yeah, above board level, what you've got is a path that risks radiation, but also you've got a path that risks being lost. However, like Sam and Sky has said, there's a lot of different variation you could take on that road for better or worse. Mr. Handy can't fit in the cave hole, but he can go down the other path with you, is also another thought.
Tough decision, but I think I'm just gonna stay put.
Ooh, okay.
Because I don't. There's no benefit in me going.
Okay. Sure. Master Jim, should I take up a position here, or what should I do? Should we get out of here? This is terrifying.
Well, look, Alfred. What I want you to do is take position up at this pool of radiation in case they come from the other side and make their way through. And then you can give me some information and call out if they do show themselves.
Sure. That's perfectly fine by me, Master Jim. I will let you know. And he positions himself right as you instruct. We'll flip back to the other two. A warning that we are a little short on time tonight. We're coming up on 15 minutes.
Can I send my moth buddy to get Jim?
You can, but I don't know that Jim's going to know or care or see it, or the world's your oyster, though. You can try. You can certainly try.
I would like to reach into my bag and get my medical kit. And I would like to pull out some cotton out of it. And I want to plug our ears with it.
Oh, great idea. Yeah. Wonderful. I like that.
Little moth buddy, can you find Jim and bring him here, great wise one?
Okay. Your moth buddy goes off, and he is on his way, Raven. I will warn both of you that the Wendigo, though distracted by... by the way, it is eating this person in front of you. I want to make that abundantly clear for your turn, right? It bit into this person last time. So, if it is not interrupted by the next turn, it will. I think that's it. If its turn comes back around again, it is going to have killed that person. Just as a warning, as you two are standing there for this turn, watching it eat a person. Just as a heads up to remind what dire, grim circumstances you find yourselves in here. To send your moth buddy is probably going to be a minor action for you, which will save your major action. And Sam, you also probably that cotton maneuver would still probably give you a major action as well. So just to kind of throw that out there, if you're looking to interrupt this thing, you could. If you're waiting, you could, but you risk that person dying. In fact, I'll roll a die for them too. Raven, your moth, you actually see it sort of dart forward towards the Wendigo, but away from it to the left it goes. Okay. You two have major actions. Anything you're doing here?
I whisper.
We have to help them, Sam. I open fire.
For sure, I say, go ahead.
Okay. With that, Raven has her bow at the ready, and you're letting one fly, I'm guessing. So go ahead and roll those up. Roll those dice. Sam, if you're doing the same, you're welcome to try and let loose as well. Raven connects with one and does 4 points of damage as right in the back of the torso, it's got an arrow stuck. You hear a scream muffled by your the cotton in your ears, but a scream nonetheless that howls out and reverberates it to the point that Jim and Alfred both hear that out in the main area of this cave. Sam blasts with a 3. That's 2 AP back in your pool. Sam does 2, 4, 6, 7 points of damage. So 7, and then that would be 3, and then 1. So 11 points of damage, I think I saw off that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
11 points of damage. Massive hit. Let me see. What's our Wendigo got in his damage resistances for all of you? Defensive 1. Physical resistance of 5. So he takes that 11 hit you've done. How much? One of that hit one spot, right? Let's see. So we got 2, 4, 6. So 7 hits the left leg. And then that's reduced by 5. So 2 damage to his left leg. And then what are the remaining numbers? We said 3 and 1. So both of those are negated on the Wendigo. He just, those ones don't seem to leave much of a scratch. Yeah. Same Raven, your arrow stuck, but God same.
I was just asking, are we factoring in the piercing, the ignoring 1 point of target's damage reduction?
No.
Rolled.
So that's for each of that. Good. No, you remind me of that. Thank you. Just a warning. I am probably not going to factor those in unless you guys give me a big flag. I know it says it in the chat, but I ignore that. So good on you for flagging that. So that takes 3 of it. So we say 7 minus 2, so 5. So we'll say it cripples the left leg of it. And that will not apply to your follow-up hits for that. That is for the first one on that, to my understanding. And so the remainder of those shots do glance off effectively. Its leg probably gives out, I believe, is the critical for this, and it falls prone for a moment as it actually reaches up to grab back at that body. And that will conclude your turns and bring up the... Let's see, what's his initiative order? Because I don't know if he jumps in between you guys from where he is here. Yeah, he does. So he's going to pop in before Jim. I'm going to link those two together like that. Okay. So with that, he's going to use minor action to get up. And he is going to use another AP here out of my pool to sprint. He is eyes locked onto your areas, jumps up over the ledge here. Sort of a jump climb at that. Jumps, latches onto it in all fours and sort of crawls right up over that kind of rock lip that was sort of giving you coverage. Mac, this thing right in Raven's face as it goes ahead. It is going to attack you head on here. Sorry to the audience out there. I apologize. We're off grid anyway. Not that it matters too much. We're doing a lot of theater of mind here. So he will... Where's his attacks? Oh, they're outside of this. Where's my Wendigo? Yeah, he's going to do claws right in your face, Raven. He needs to hit a target number of 16 or less to hit on this. Whoa! He he completely misses this attack. In fact, when he jumped at you, Raven, because of his injury to his leg, he begins sliding down that rock face. As he's swinging at you, he slides down the wall face, sort of right in front of you both. So you sort of have the high ground aiming down at him. You are both, as a reminder now, in close range to the creature. That will take us back. Jim's on mute. DK's on mute. I don't know if he's planning on doing anything out there. Okay, good. You're out there. All you've heard so far is... Actually, I'll say this. You heard that horrendous scream that you've already associated a bit with the Wendigo, and you probably now heard the blast of Sam's shotgun echo through there.
Yeah, there's not much I could do, so I probably just won't do anything.
Master Jim, you're going to do nothing. Your friends need you. They're dying out there. Alfred yells.
Well, I mean, I don't even know which way they went. How am I supposed to get to them?
Ahead, Master Jim, they're ahead. The sound came from ahead. If you won't do it, I will. And Mr. Handy leaves you as he goes off through that irradiated area, off to find your comrades. You have the option of staying put, following, or taking the other path, but Jim, it's up to you, man. You have a... If you want to get in on it, here's your chance, but you don't have to.
I'm gonna wait a bit.
Okay, he's staying out there. Got you. Flip back around to the team here. Raven and Sam, you're welcome to go ahead and let loose on the Wendigo, as it is right in front of you. In the next turn, Alfred will arrive to your location, as a heads up.
Are we both doing it just at the same time again?
Yeah, sure, go for it. That's easiest for me, I think.
Oh, good Lord.
Woo! Oh, man.
I am gonna use trigger discipline to reroll one of them.
Go for it. Good idea. Better than your shotgun like exploding.
Yeah, for sure.
I honestly don't know almost what else to do. Two 20s on a shotgun. Okay, so 14. Your number is 11. So no hits on this. Blam! You let loose, and as you let loose on that shot, Sam, it's you kind of like leaning over the ledge to get that shot in on him. As you fire, you completely miss the Wendigo's body as it reaches up and grabs you in sort of a almost like a masterful lunge up, and it pulls you by the arm that's holding, maybe actually grabs straight onto your shotgun itself. And you know what? It's going to do a contested strength roll for you. So why don't you go ahead and roll the highest number? Okay, so it's going to roll a counter to what you're going to do here. So why don't you roll you can roll any amount of up to 5 d20s. You can spend your AP in the same way. All of those successes will be the difficulty that it has to beat. So as many successes as you get is sort of proofing you to not be pulled off of the edge. You're trying to future-proof yourself so he doesn't yank you when he rolls his dice. Raven, did you roll yours yet? I don't know that she did, but you're welcome to
Draw
do so.
my 10 millimeters and open fire.
Okay, minor action for the draw, unless you have a card for that. And go ahead and roll that. Sam, you had a question maybe, or a statement.
I'm gonna pay 3 to get extra die.
Sure. So you're going to add 2 more to that and do a 4 dice roll.
Yes. And were you just saying this was like D20 or is it a strength test?
You're rolling. Oh, that's a great question. Roll your strength and athletics, and it's the 2d20. Yeah. That's it. Sorry. So you're rolling your strength and athletics, and then however many successes you get here is going to dictate what it has to beat. You're setting the difficulty, so you set it a difficulty of 3. And for it to pull you down, let's see, it uses, so its body is 11, so it needs to roll, it needs to beat you on that one. I'm going to spend an AP, let's see. Ooh, he does not succeed on this. Sam, you guys for this turn, for the kind of, you know what? That's going to be your biggest complication on this. You succeeded. He did not pull you off the edge at all. Yanks on it. At worst, for this complication, you and he are stun locked in this exchange for now. That will take. I think you used all your actions here. I will say on your next round to ungrapple him. We'll take a minor action unless Raven can maybe shoot him off or something. You got the 10 millimeter open fire. She did. She got. I think that's you. You got the 2 successes, Raven. You can cast those damage dice for it if that's for you.
I technically do think. Do I have a minor action? Because I did not say or spend it.
Then you still have one, and he would consume that this round.
Okay.
I don't know that ungrapples you the next, though. I think you're still going to need your next minor action to get away from him.
Got it.
She does 2 points of damage with that, and this one doesn't have any kind of piercing effect to it, so those ones are just negated right off of it. It doesn't even look at you, Raven, as you shoot that. It is still focused on Sam and that gun. You know what? I'll put it this way, Sam. If you don't use a minor action to sort of shake him loose next time, he's going to try and pull you again. That's the risk of what he's going to do on this next round.
Okay, for sure.
Which puts us back to Jim and Mr. Handy. Jim, I don't know if you're changing course or staying the same, but Mr. Handy is getting to the scene. So what's your plan then, Jim?
I start to realize that, I might as well go, so I'm going to go in this other path here.
Oh, okay. Jim's going down the path of many options. Why don't you go ahead and do that perception survival test for us, Jim, and see how well you do through this. 1 success. Okay, got you. You're going to travel for this turn then. You're sticking ahead. You're following Sam's markers that he's got. Raven needs to go to sleep. However, I feel since we're locked in combat with the Wendigo on a second week, I want to leave it open to Sam and Jim what you guys all want to do here, because I'm fine to stay a little bit longer if you want to try and get to something. Or we could leave it again. I don't want to make you guys stuck for 2 weeks in a combat maneuver. So it's a little open-ended to what the team wants to do.
I have 10 minutes.
Okay, you guys could come up with a plan then. You got a real life timer clicking. Jim's moving. Mr. Handy shows up. Mr. Handy, he's immediately going to use his attack. Why don't Sam and Mac think of what they're going to do while I process Mr. Handy's maneuver? You guys are right next to each other while you're fighting this Wendigo. So you can make some commentary to one another as you see Alfred. You see kind of his jet, if anything, more than that, come around the corner, and he casts this massive fire from his flamethrower as he connects with the Wendigo as it's holding on to you, Sam. And Sam, you're like kind of looking down this ledge as you see its like entire body engulfed with flames as the flames just cover up of its face, and these hollow, vacant eyes almost fill in with fire as Mr. Handy's actually ignited a dot on him. So now he is a burning Wendigo, and he will take some damage for that accordingly. I think it's your turns. I'm willing to give. I'm more.
Let's keep fighting, Sam. We need to fin this beast.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm ready.
Okay. Why don't you two take your turn? I don't know if the Wendigo's behind a turn or not, but he's busy grappling anyway. So if he missed a turn, that's on him. 2 successes, Raven. You connect. Can you do damage with that gun? Let's see it. 3 damage. Nothing. Just not even caring about that gun, Raven. Sam gets a hit. That is, go ahead, roll up that damage for us. Also,
I'm using my minor action. I got away from him. You know, I freed myself. Yeah.
He's a little distracted with the flames.
Oh, for sure. So I think that loosened his grip a little bit. I was able to break free, and then I roll up my shotgun and I fire at him for
5 damage. 4 damage. No, wait, is that correct? So 5 damage, and he would reduce all of that, but you're penetrating 1 level of it. So his is, so he'll take 1 damage of that. And then there's the second effect that comes through, which should be 2 more of that damage to some other body part. With or without the resistance factored in on the second one, it does that one. Those ones are nullifying out. The scatter shot's not working. He does take damage, though, to his torso, a shot. Okay, we're back to, actually, I think it's probably the Wendigo's turn now. Yeah, because he's going to go before Jim and them, right? Okay, Wendigo, he's got some sort of scream attack. You guys both have that... Oh, this is a medium-ranged attack, though. Yeah, he's going for his claws. I'm keeping it quick. Oh, he just scored a snake eye on that one, and not so well on that one. So, he gets me an AP back. Who was the strike against, actually? Sam, this is going to be against you because I think you're the closest to him still. He is attacking with a claw. Each effect rolled automatically hits 1 additional target within close range. Oh, Raven, actually, you know what? You're in on this too. He did not roll the damage dice yet, though. He needs to roll 6 damage dice for this attack. And any of those effects that he rolls will... Okay, Raven, you get hit. Definitely. That is 4. He's doing 5 points of damage to both Sam and Raven as you guys are in his close area, and he has a massive swing. And this is going for your right arms. Well, Sam, we'll say that hits your right arm, and Raven, this hits your left leg. That's the way the dice roll. That's what's closest to his claw swipe. If you have damage resistance, ideal time for it because he did 5 points of damage. So that would be a critical injury to those locations.
It finally hit something I have armor on.
Fuck yeah.
I got 2 physical damage resistance on that arm.
Hell yeah. So 3 damage to your arm, no critical, no massive injury. I do want to say, in the sake of time, Raven, I don't want you to feel like you're shooting at nothing. Your gun, though, is not penetrating his 5 points of damage resistance. He is just eating those bullets. I will just tell you, for the sake of time and urgency, that gun is a pea shooter compared to him, and he does not care. Sam's shotgun's making a difference. Explosives could make a difference, and Mr. Handy made an impact, but that 10 millimeter is not doing it. Just as a thought, just as a fair above board warning for your sanity. His turn concludes, by the way. That's all he's going to do. Jim, you've decided to continue traveling through the tunnel. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How about you roll me 1 more of those perception and survival tests to see if you get through this time. If it's a good roll, we're gonna say you get through. Perfecto. Jim, you see the marks. You're following as fast as you can. You hear gunshot. Sam's shotgun's going off. You hear, I don't even know if you hear the flames from the Mr. Handy or so much as actually you begin to see that. You begin to see this massive flicker of light down your corridor, which shows you the final leg of the path as Jim is crawling quickly. And with that, Jim, we'll actually allow you, you're going to be at like long range from this thing. You come out of there, you round the corner, kind of as much as you can in this one turn, and that would put you at long range for a weapon. So if you have a medium range weapon out, it would just add 1 difficulty to your shot. And if you're a small close range weapon, it would be 2 difficulty if you want to shoot. Otherwise, we'll consider your movement taken in this. And
That'll be, yeah.
So again, you could spend an AP if you want to go into a closer range, actually, for a minor action. That would move you closer.
No, I'll just wait till next turn.
Okay. Then we are at Mr. Handy. I will trigger his attack. He is at close range. He's buzzsawing. And I will pass it back to you both, Raven and Sam, to do what you got to do while I see.
Okay, draw my machete and go a whacking, hacking, and smacking Butch Pete.
Oh, Butcher Pete style. Mr. Handy throws that buzzsaw in, cuts right at the torso of the creature. It screams out, not one of its gnarly screams, but nonetheless, it has taken damage to its back from Mr. Handy's buzzsaw. Raven, roll those numbers. Let's see them. What do you got for your... Oh, you go in and complete miss. No luck on that one, Raven. Sam, you're taking a minor action to move to the NPC.
Yes, I'm going to assess this person. Are they, like, dying?
They are bleeding out, yes. There is a massive gaping wound in the side of their torso, as if it had, like, bit into their stomach. It was devouring them. This person has 2 more turns left at their current pace before you can assume they'll die from loss of blood. And you can tell at this close range, this is Hell's Bells.
I will use my medicine to stabilize a dying patient.
Great. That's a difficulty 1 from their injury.
I'm going to pay 1
Okay.
to get an extra die.
Do it.
And I'm going to use can I use a stim pack in conjunction with it?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to use a regular stim pack, so 4 AP. Or 4 HP.
Roll it up. Clear. How much is that all back together again? 4 plus 6? 4 plus 4?
I don't think I don't think it counts if we're doing stabilization. I don't think my medicine counts to heal them. I think that would be
that's a great call. I think your stim pack still heals them, maybe. If the person was dying, then they stabilize immediately. When you administer a stim pack as part of the action, they regain 4 HP immediately, in addition to any other effects. So, okay. So, at minimum, they get 4 HP back, and they're stabilized. If you're cool with that.
Yes, and then I will end my turn.
Cool. And with that, you see that would be Hellsbell's eyes pop open, and she goes, ah! Ah! And you, Sam, can see the stim pack is very rapidly repairing the tissue in her torn open torso as she, again, very much comes back to life in a start. Sam! She is just almost out of it for this round. And I believe that's everything for you two, unless you have anything extra.
And I kind of like shake her.
Yeah.
just RP and just be like, you need to snap out of it. I need you in this fight.
Absolutely. It's coming for Raven. The Wendigo is next to you, Raven, and I think you went next to it, to be specific. It is going to do its next claw attack at you, Raven. It's doing it to potentially you and Mr. Handy there. He scores a hit, and he's rolling his 6 combat dice. He has connected with Mr. Handy, but only dealing 5 points of damage. Raven, I don't know if you took your last 5 points of damage, but I didn't hear anything back from you on that. But he's dealing another 5 points of damage to you and Mr. Handy, and this is to your face. He's hitting you right in the head here, Raven. If you have, I think you do have some damage resistance on your head. I hope you do. Otherwise, you will receive a critical for this, which is probably not great. I think you might lose your turn next round. Head injuries are momentarily dazed, lose your normal action on your next turn. Though you may spend AP to do extra actions further, you can't see clearly, and this will increase your difficulty on all tests that rely on visibility by 2 until that's healed. Jeez, Mac's gonna be like blinded and deafened and like, yikes. Oh, comrades. I know Raven's running out of time. Is this a fight to finish? Is this a fight to pause on? Is this a fight
My
to
hood
retreat?
has 1 decameter.
Your decameter just say fucking decameters. Your
What a weird abbreviation.
How?
Mac's trying to say she's 1 damage resistance, chat. So she wrote 1 DAM and it says decameter. I guess that's it. So you now take 4 damage, and thank goodness your head is not. You're not dazed. You're not dazed. Mr. Handy takes the same sort of smack there. He is taking those 4 points of damage, but not damage completely. He's got some damage resistance there for it. So with the conclusion of that, Jim, we're back to you. You are, again, within long range, but you could move up closer if you're interested. And you would see at this stage, you got Mr. Handy in the fight, you've got Raven, and you may have lost a little bit of sight on Jim as he walks, kind of runs off to take care of Hell's Bells, probably like hunkered over on the ground.
All right, I'll move in a little bit.
Okay. You get into medium or close range?
Medium.
Okay, great. So that's your minor action. And what you got for your gun here? What are you doing? I'll say you can have already pulled that out at this, coming up here, that last turn. If you did.
All right. Let's see about my my pipe bolt action. See if I can take a shot and get a hit.
Sure, go for it. Roll that up. He's got a difficulty of 1 on his test here. Not on that shot. It goes wide. I don't know if Mr. Handy got his. I think he's up. I don't know. Maybe I think I just ran him, actually. Raven, that brings us back to you. Mr. Handy had attack with the blade, I think. Or is that the last round? I'll roll him again. I don't know. He doesn't do a lot of damage anyway. I don't want to forget him and
Sorry,
short
time's
you.
up.
Well, I will put this again back in your guys' hands. You can either continue the fight now, you could put a pin in it for later, or you can retreat from this now. Whatever you guys want to do. I'm not forcing you one way or another, because again, I know in the past you guys don't want to spread these combats too long. So, tis your choice. I'll let the group decide.
I consider this a completely separate round of combat than the last one that we did.
Very good. Very good. Okay, is that the agreement then? You guys are calling it quits?
Yep.
Wonderful. Chat, thank you for attending tonight. To Mac, to Sam, to DK. I appreciate the heck out of you guys coming and playing Fallout with me tonight. What an adventure and what an area you've discovered. I think the biggest takeaway and homework for everyone this next week is what the heck are you going to do? A lot of these weapons are not cutting it damage-wise. Because of his damage resistance. He's a toughie. And he just fed. That leads to it. His damage is his resistance is up because he was just eating your friend. So that's something to consider. I know there was talk earlier about strategic withdrawal, trapping it in there, or throwing a nuka grenade at it. I mean, any of these things are possibilities for the next week. But, yeah. That's about where we leave it tonight. For the people that are out there in the audience, thank you a ton for being here. I guess I'll also remind Sam and Jim that assuming you're... depending on how you dispatch with the Wendigo and stuff next week, we can expect to level up pretty early in that session. So I'd said last time it'll either be today or next week. So it's winding up to be next week. With a successful kill of a Wendigo, at least that'll be a level up for sure. And, if you save a comrade, that would also be, kind of the completion of a quest, if you will, and also some experience. So however you deal with this, you'll get a good chunk out of this no matter what. Well, as long as you're able to save a comrade and get out of here. To everyone that's listening and watching, please go check out the Substack. It is tftfallout.substack.com. That stands for Tales from Tomorrow. So that's the name of the series. We're doing the Under the Mothman's Embrace campaign. My brain at this time of the night has officially fled the coop. But we'll be back here next Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch. You can find all the links to that below. That goes for wherever you're listening to this. This episode is being syndicated up on YouTube. It'll be up in the Twitch highlights. It'll be up on the Substack under the podcast, which also means it'll be syndicated to Apple Podcasts. It's up on YouTube under their podcast section on main area on our page as well. It's on Spotify. It should be soon, if not already. And I think I said Amazon Music. My brain, again, we'll get out of here. It's gone on me. All the links below. Tales from Tomorrow. Look out for our Instagram account. Look out for our Discord server. You can join in, share your thoughts. And also, if you're someone that's interested in playing a game like this, get in touch. My goodness, we'd love to do some community one-shots in the future. There's some fun characters that are set up for the Fallout TV series. They've got Lucy and all the rest. So there's all kinds of different options of where we could set ourselves, from Boston to Appalachia to the West Coast in general. You can go as far as the mental limits take you, explore it, have fun with it. And again, I got to thank my comrades here a heck of a lot for participating tonight. It was an absolute blast. I look forward to us meeting all next week. Any parting thoughts from you guys? Sam, Jim, Sky, DK?
No.
Just thank you all for being here.
Yes. Oh, by the way, both of them are Twitch streamers. Sorry, I should mention that you guys should follow both DK and Sky over on their accounts. We can get those in the description too, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Sam. You're going to say something else.
Oh, I appreciate everyone taking the time out of their night, to watch this. It's nice.
I agree. Hey, I'll share one last picture before we go. I don't know if you guys can see the screen, but this is the in-game artwork. This is Tales from the West Virginia Hills, The Curse of the Wendigo. That's a pretty cool piece of cover art there. I saw that earlier, and I really wanted to share it with everybody, and yeah, really badass. So
that is incredible.
Yeah, and there's your Mr. Handy, buzzsaw or flamethrower. I can't tell which that is. One of them is ready to rock and roll. So, okay, Twitch stream, we end you. We end everything. Thank you all. Catch you next week. See you tomorrow for more Twitch streaming. I believe I should be here. Good night, good luck, and stay safe out there in the wasteland.